Yo, yo, yo. My voice is gone, people, but I have to be here. Big up to my them in the building. Thank you so very much for joining us. Please share, subscribe, like. Let's get the house cleaning out of the way. Thank you so much for all of you guys who are still rocking with me. Thank you for the bottom of my little heart. I appreciate all of you guys. But today we got a great show. We're gonna talk about this is LFC vibe, so everything LFC. We're just gonna vibe. We got Irishman in the building. Irishman, if you're available, let me know, man. I'll send you the link right away. But people, big up yourself. Big up yourself. We're glad that we made it another week. As you can see, my voice is horrible. We made it another week. That is more important. More important. I'm glad that you are here with me. Healthy. Family is good. You are doing good. Hey, even things are not good, there's always light at the end of the tunnel. Most importantly, you are healthy. And when you are healthy, you can make anything possible, man. Big up yourself. I got people in the building. We got Christian in the house. Big up yourself. Gelme Lunardi, big up yourself. Hopefully we get ISAK to complete this team front line. They will destroy the league and probably win the quad. Brother, me and you, we on the same team. We are on the same team. Bro, I've been saying it and I'm going to continue saying it. And guess what? We're going to talk about that, exactly what you just said. Big up to Ali. Ali's in the house with his gang oppression. Oh, I see you coming, man. I see you coming. Big up yourself. Thank you. Everybody, please hit the like button as you are walking the building. Let's get us to already 33 people on both sides. YouTube people, get us to 10 right away. YouTube people, get us to 10 right away. Christian said, I will not be surprised if we are in for ISAK next month. Brother, it seems like I have converted a lot of people to be on my side. And that's what I want to do. Thank you so much. Come on in, people. Come on in. Free haircut for all of you guys who talking about ISAK. Even if you don't have hair, we will get you a trim. We will give you a trim for just saying that in the barbershop. Come on in. Alvarez or ISAK is loaded in July. Believe it. Hey, Alvarez or ISAK, man, that's all we need. All I know is Liverpool needed a striker. I'm tired of all these forwards. And I blame Klopp. I blame Pep Guardiola. They are the reason why, and that's my theory, they are the reason why the striker market is dead. I blame Jurgen Klopp and Pep Guardiola are the reason why the striker market are dead. Why? Well, I'm glad that you asked me, and I'm going to tell you. Thank you so much. Please sit in the chair. We'll get you a barber. We'll get you a barber, and then we'll get you a trim, right? Check this out. Obviously, Pep has always been the most copied manager in his generation. But let's not get it twisted. A lot of people have copied Klopp. In the English league, since these two managers came in, the press has gone up. The high line has gone up. The passes, ball possession has extremely gone up. Right? So that is not by accident. That is not by accident, people. And let's look at how successful these managers were playing the false nines. I mean, Benzema, Big Benz, had to find a way to change the way he plays, and he became probably after Bobby. I think Benzema was the next best false nine in the world at that time, right? So because of that, everybody tried to copy that style. having a false nine who can drop deep, who can go left and right, who can help the midfield, who could also put some balls in the back of the net, or who's selfless and help his attackers. I mean, let's look at BBC. Everybody's job was to make Ronaldo score more goals, even though Benzema was a goal machine. Wasn't it? Bale was also a goal machine. Same thing with MSN. Everybody was there, even though Suarez was a killer. Even though that's when Neymar was Neymar. The future apparent to the throne. But all their job was to make sure that Messi get his 60-odd goals every year. And of course, the ultimate team, Liverpool, the Red Arrows. Bobby Mane had to make sure that Salah get his, and he did get his. And I'm basically saying that's one of the reasons why the striker market are dead. Now, but before I continue, let me shout out a few of our people who are in the building, in the barbershop. Truden, Wadaguan, good to see you. I watched the Frimpong Day video on YouTube. He had an NBA young boy on during his medical. That's crazy. That's crazy. Oh my God. I apologize. My voice about to go, so I need to keep drinking this hydration. And of course, I got backup with me. I got Liverpool. I said Irishman in the building. Let me get a better view than this. Good to see you, brethren. How you doing? There we go. This is a better view. Everybody can see Irishman. Can you hear us?
Yeah, you sound like shit.
I know, man. This voice is... I don't know what happened. It's not like we have a cold. It's the allergies, man.
Were you smoking cigars last night? Are you toasting?
No.
Wirtz, you got the cigar and the brandy out?
Nah, I mean, I was thinking about it because I was expecting Mr. Wirtz to sign the dotted line. So I had to put on ice because he didn't do it. You know what I mean? So that's what happened. But let's say hello to some of our peoples. Ale is in the building. He said Edward is only going for the best, not the B-Tech version. Facts. I reckon that after Kirkers and Frimpong get signed up, I will get quiet with players leaving to balance the books, then go shop in the market again. I can see that too. Big up to yourself, Honesty. How you doing? How's your team doing today, man? I guess Netherlands is playing today, right? Big up, big up, big up. Didn't Pep start with false nine with Messi at Barca? Yes, he did. That's what I'm saying. I blame him. I blame Klopp, because Klopp at Dortmund, he started it. No, he didn't do it. He went straight up striker, and then he came to Liverpool, and then he changed his damn mind. Pep also has some serious strikers too. David Villa? Remember that guy? Crazy, crazy goals. Bless up. So Irishman, how you doing? And big up to Uncle Albert. He's in the building. Good to see you, Uncle Albert. I hope you're doing well. I'm sure you've eaten your fufu or your jollof today with the goat soup. So let's jump on to what's happening right now. Liverpool have sent £100 million cash to Leverkusen and said it is guaranteed. 100 million guaranteed, plus 13 million add-ons, which I think is very, very easy for them to for Verse to achieve those. That is the updated news, because all this is almost done. It's almost done, brother. It's so close that the guy's about to fall off the cliff. He's about to fall off the end of the universe right now, Irishman. But we know that Liverpool have sent a second bid, a proper second bid, not the one that everybody was talking about a few weeks ago or a few days ago. But when you hear this, 100 million plus 13 add-ons, what make you think the deal is close, or there's still more negotiations to do?
No, 99%. 99%. It's like this Nations League thing probably slowed up the negotiations a bit in terms of getting the player over. But again, I keep saying it. I think it's just that
Matter
amount
of
of money,
time.
those fine details takes a bit of time. Takes a bit of time. So I'm more than happy with it. He's going around the Germany camp telling all his mates he's going to be in Liverpool next year. It's I don't think the club is in any way going to let this fall apart, because it's not like quasi we're 50 million quid apart here. It's only,
Exactly.
we knew the price going
Yep.
in, and we gave him a few nudges to see, and they're, look, it'll come down, but it's only going to come down by this much. So it's all right. Right. Okay, cool. Here's your 100 up front. Now let's talk about that other,
Yeah.
how we get that together. And like you were saying, the add-ons thing, they'll want easy ones, we'll want slightly less. So it's just a bit of table tennis, a bit of financial negotiation back and forth.
Yeah.
Keep the relationship sweet, though.
Yeah.
Keep the relationship sweet, because we're taking two of their best players. They're getting a lot of money for them, but we also may want to do business in the future. So you want to be able to kind of walk away with a handshake and everybody's happy.
You don't want to burn the bridge.
Yeah, but just wrap it up now. Let's get it wrapped up now. I'm also at that point. Like, okay, let's get this wrapped up now. Let's no more, not another 2 weeks, just the weekend. Maybe they're not going to do something in the weekend, but yeah, let's kind of get this wrapped up now, because his Nations League thing is over.
And when is the last game? Today or tomorrow?
Well, they were knocked out, so unless they have a third place playoff, which they won't.
Oh, okay. So he's done. He's ready to go.
Unless there's a third place playoff. Yeah, because they got knocked out by Portugal, and Spain knocked out France. So the final is Spain versus Portugal. So unless Germany have to play France, in a third round or a third place playoff, I don't know.
And this is the thing. Honesty brought a very good.
Tomorrow.
Okay, Honesty brings a very good point. He said Leverkusen don't want it to go to his final year. If they hold him for one more year, next year they only making maybe 60 million. Yes, Liverpool. It will be hard for Liverpool to get him, because then all the vultures will come in. We'll say BIGGA says that the third place game is tomorrow. Okay, so there is a third one. Okay, all right. You do not. Liverpool does not want it to go to his final season, even though it will be easier because the fee will be less. But then you get Madrid, Barca, and Bayern to come back in. At that time, he's looking at you like, I gave you guys the green light, and you couldn't pull it off. So why should I come to you? So as much as it's in the best interest of both clubs to get it done this year. Leverkusen, you make money, a lot of money, a whole lot of money. Liverpool, you have no competition. You see what I mean? So I totally agree with what you're saying. At this point, Liverpool, whoever is holding just say, nod your head, yes, let's keep on moving. The guy needs to move on. He's tired of people asking him questions while he's focusing with Germany. And every little thing he says goes into the news cycles or social media news cycle, and it doesn't look good for both Liverpool or Leverkusen. So that's the point when I told you 1000% I agree with you. At this point, get it done. What are we, what's there to talk about? And I understand it's a big contract. Everything needs to, he's not coming in just as a player. He's coming in as an ambassador of Adidas, which Adidas is also going to be our representative starting in August. But at this point, it's like, bro, and maybe I'm that Liverpool fan who's starting to become relentless, and PTSD is kicking in, so I'm becoming impatient. But I agree with you. It needs to get done. Everybody moves on. Everybody knows what's happening, and we move on to the next step, which is either selling players or bringing more players in. You know what I mean? So other than that, I feel like just like Brian said it better than I'm saying. I'm just regurgitating what Brian said. We need to get this thing done. Even though I know it's going to get it done, I think at this point it's gone on too far. It's gone on, it just gives the fans something so that they can be like, okay, it's going to happen. So other than that, I think it will happen. I'm just impatient right now because it's been, 2.5 weeks?
Yeah, pretty much, yeah. 2 weeks ago was the first kind of big announcement. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, man, let's get it done, because I'm tired of seeing content creators. Here we go soon. Here we go. This is done. Is bro? I'm like, I've seen so many close that I'm like, the boy is about to fall off the edge of the universe if he gets closer to anything else at this point. You know what I mean? But big up to man them that building. Please hit the like button, subscribe, and also please go on my brother's Irishman's channel and subscribe if you haven't. Big thing goes out there, man. As a matter of fact, a lot of you guys have requested that we do calling. Guess what? Irishman does calling shows right now. So
yeah,
and I've promised you guys that when I get to 500, we will get it going. So we at 4-4-2. Maybe that's the formation we're gonna play next season. You see what I did there? So let's get
first weirdo last night. We had our first weirdo last night. He didn't
really.
Don't tell me he didn't get any time at all. He didn't get any time at all. He only got 2 seconds. He came in hot, so we knew he was a weirdo. But yeah, more often than not, like we never have any. It's usually a lot of the same people, but the call in is always open for everybody.
Yeah.
Well, it's always open. It's anybody wants to call in, even for 5 minutes. Just you don't have to be part of the show. You can just call in and say something for 5 minutes rather than typing it all out for 20 minutes. You just come in, have your say, and go.
Yeah. And yes, the Caicedo thing took 6 weeks, even though it was on and off. We started it and then we stopped and then we tried to sneak in the last day, and then
Well, I mean, the Caicedo one didn't work out though, did it? I mean, it was gonna.
That's the thing, and that's why everybody has this PTSD going on. You know what I mean? Big up to Redbird.
Sorry, yeah, well, nice one, Redbird. Do you think people still? I still think, kind of like whenever. Sometimes when a club does something or a player does something, people just kind of latch onto that one time they did something. And it's like, wait, but that's the way they do it. That's the way they do business. And I think the Fabinho one, the one where nobody knew about Fabinho and overnight it was just done.
It spoiled the hell out of us. But
yeah, it can't all be that easy. They can't all go like that. And people are kind of, we got Fabinho done. It's like, that's how Edwards does things. It's like, some of them took a long time. Some of them took a long time.
See, the thing with the Fabinho one
took 6 months.
True. I mean, this one has been taken in, if you were to believe everything, 4 years. I mean, 5 years, because Edward was talking to him when he was a kid. And in January, he started it again. So it's like, I
think when he was at Cologne, when
he was at Cologne,
before he went to Liverpool, like that, because that kid was highly rated at that age group. He's one of the most highly rated in the world.
Yes.
So yeah, I think he kind of accidentally bumped into him at Cologne. Said, oh well, look, there's my card. If you ever think about Liverpool, there's my card.
Okay, now Jimmy Star has put us all on notice. We claim that we are royalty, and the patient is a royal trait. So we just have to listen to the man. He's right. If we claim that we are royalty and people are coming, why are we so giddy about people? Okay, Brian, let me put everybody on notice, especially myself. Thank you, Jimmy Star. If we call ourselves this big club and big fans that we are, why are we acting like little kids in the candy store because our parents is lifting that toy that we want, and all of a sudden we are here doing high knees? Yes. Big clubs don't act like that. You see what I mean?
Yeah. No, I think we have been. I've been very much in the camp of just wait, it'll be done kind of thing. But also, it's just when I talk about wanting to get it done, it's because, like what you were saying, and it's our fault for doing them and watching them. But every single night there's another show. It's updates. If you went away for 2 weeks to some island and left your phone behind, just free the internet, and you came back, you'd be like, yeah, that was done. He'd be a player. It's just because but it's just to stop all the noise around it is why I want it done. But if it takes another week, it takes another week.
Hey, patience is a virtue. And if we are big club, we should be like, oh, he's coming. Good job. And we keep on moving, right? That's how we supposed to act. But some of us are acting like a damn fool. And Kabak, big up yourself. He said, it's only Twitter Liverpool fans. See, they are so reactionary. That's true. That is true. And at this point, Another gentleman that actually before we get there, Brian, I have a quick question for you. And people in the chat, I want all you guys to answer this too. Me and you agree that Wirtz is coming. Next season, who are you like really, I don't want to say excited to see? Yeah, you could use the word excited, or you're gonna be kind of eyeing that person in Liverpool squad. Who's the player that you're gonna be like, I'm gonna be paying extra attention to this guy to see whether they're gonna sink or swim?
Of the new guys or of everybody?
Anybody. I don't care whether
Gakpo.
the person is we've signed or not. Who are you gonna look say? Gakpo?
Gakpo for me, because with a new left back on his side, Wirtz operating in that slightly withdrawn but to the left role.
Yeah.
Operating off him with the kind of quality that he will supply. I think Gakpo is a pretty top ranking goal scorer. He's not done it quite enough for us, but I think, yeah, with a new left back and Florian Wirtz in behind him, I think we could see a 20-22 goal season from Gakpo if he stays fit. Like a really, really good season. Maybe even just 18.
That would be awesome.
I think we might unlock him a little bit, you know, because he's fighting it out with Diaz sometimes, and Robbo hasn't been the best this season. So with Kerkez on his side and taking a bit of the
energy going to be on that side.
Yeah, and Wirtz playing little passes could be nice. Could be nice if they can get a little rapport going, him and Wirtz.
Yeah.
Not just take a bit of that pressure off Mo, you know, that goal scoring pressure. You know, we can't have another one. I think Mo was on 56% goal involvement. It's still high. Like it's brilliant. It's great, but we need someone else to eat into those numbers as well. So
that's right.
That whole left hand side could be almost brand new. You know, if Diaz leaves, especially if Diaz leaves, Gakpo takes up the mantle.
Man, that's right now. I have to step up my game. Honesty said Frimpong. Alice said Frimpong. Honesty said that he also think that Mamashvili, we need to see how he's going to handle the pressure of being a backup to Ali. Good point. Good point. Ro Selassie, I knew you and I were here all the time. I agree 1000%. Actually, let me see. I'll get back to that. Kabak is saying next season, I don't think Mo will do another 47 GA. I agree. I don't think he will, but he will be very important and he will score quite a lot. I think he'll be in the close to 25, between 20 to 25, because Wirtz is going to take a lot of the load from him. And just like Brian said, Gakpo and the left side also going to take a lot of the load from him. Now, okay, Red Armchair, big up yourself. He said left back was a problem position at times. If we turn the weakness into a strength through kickers, we will be hard to stop. Good point. Now, let me go back to this gentleman, Szoboszlai. And this is one of the reasons why I feel like Salah will not hit that high goals threshold, even though he will break records. Because at this point, anything Salah does is just record breaking, right? I think Szoboszlai is the player that is going to be sink or swim. And the reason is Wirtz, because Wirtz is coming with a lot of pressure. What has always been something that Liverpool fans have said against Szoboszlai. He runs a lot. He has the tech, but he doesn't show it in the final third. And he's always deflecting to Salah. Now that we brought somebody like Wirtz in, if you don't step your game up, you're going to be on the bench for a longer period than just coming in, being a more high rotation player, right? There's rotation players, and then there's the high rotation players. The high rotation players who are some players who can play 3 games straight and sit on the bench and come off the bench and still start. You know what I mean? Those high, and then there's the rotation ones who just finish the game off or have 15 minutes or 20 minutes or 30 minutes, right? I.e., I think Curtis Jones is going to be a rotation player. He's not going to start many games, but he will play quite a bit of minutes. So Szoboszlai has to now work on his final third, whether he plays number 10 or number 8. because he will always be part of the attacking team, right? Do you agree with that?
Yeah, I think he's treading water. You're talking about sink or swim. I think at the moment he's treading water because unless I've missed the new rule, there's only 11 players allowed to play, right?
Yes.
And
Yes.
if you take that team from last season, let's call it last season. Last season's team was the same 11: Robbo, Trent, VBD, Ibu, Grav, Mac, Dom, Diaz, or Gakpo, Diaz, Salah, right? Or whatever, if you want to say up front, but Gakpo, Diaz, Salah.
Yeah.
So if you bring Wirtz in for 130 million quid, and you're going to put him to that team, just that team, whose spot does he take? He takes Dom's. That's what spot he takes. He doesn't, and some people say, oh, you can put Dom here, you can put Dom there. It's like, yeah, okay, well, what about Grab then? Where does Mac go? You seem to say you can play Dom deeper. Okay, well, where does Mac play?
That's the question. That's what I'm saying.
Unless you're playing Wirtz off the left, which we're not going to do. If you play Wirtz in a 10, you attack in midfield, Dominic Szoboszlai has lost his place. That's the way
and that's what I'm saying. And that is my whole point. I like what you said, treading water, because the number 10 right now, he's in trouble in that position. We're bringing 100 million player for that position. But he has already said, I like playing a little more deeper. So now he's going for
going up against
Micah and even Gravenberg, right? And as you can see, Simon, big up yourself. Thank you for coming again. He's saying that we also need to address the DM position. I don't think we need to address that position because of the way we play. And even though I agree with you, I want Baliba on that position. We're going to be on the front foot quite a bit. You don't need a destroyer when you're on the front foot. So Szoboszlai can do that position. Gravenberg is doing very well in that position, right? But we still have the youngster, what's his name? Bacetic, who's coming in. And like I said, they're going to wait till preseason start, and then they will figure it out whether should we go find somebody else or keep him. But one thing that I'm saying is, Brian, he has to step his game up, because can you imagine all of a sudden preseason start and then Szoboszlai is his final third is fixed? Then what? You are the manager, Irishman. What do you do?
Well, you could do like with what Honesty is saying there, if we don't buy a striker, because I think that's a big possibility that we don't end up buying the striker that we want. So then you could have Dom and Wirtz in a 4 with Mac and Grav, and then just play a Gakpo and a Salah. But if you do have a forward, if you do bring in Ekitike, Gyökeres, Ramos, whoever it is, then that's one of your spots gone. So it's just a numbers game. To me, it's just purely a numbers game.
Yeah.
I just said before, I'm not really that pissed off with the fact of Liverpool being so good squad-wise that we have a player like Dom not guaranteed to start, because you're just, to my mind, you're replacing Harvey Elliott / Curtis Jones with Dominic Szoboszlai. You bring in Wirtz and Szoboszlai. To me, if there's only that one spot, I'm not saying he won't get it, but if it comes down to the two of them, he's not going to play. Wirtz will, and then you can have Dom playing those Elliott, but he's not going to be happy about that either. So we have a problem. But the guy, like, it's just you want to drop him back. Okay, I think that Grav thing has worked. The DM thing, I think you're correct. A while ago, is like we need one, but then it's like, okay, Grav went through this season. Was that just a one-off? If he wants to do that again next season, if you bring in a DM, right, and you bring in Wirtz, and you're playing with a 4-3-3 setup that then becomes whatever, but you've got 3 midfielders. You bring in Wirtz and a DM, then you have to fit Grav, Mac, and Dom into one place. So we need to be real careful there. I can see us replacing an Endo with a younger version, more for the future, but not bringing in a starting number 6, you know?
Yeah, exactly. And that's the part that
I don't know.
And Irishman, let me piggyback on what you're saying. When you say we need to be careful, you're not talking about the manager and his and Hughes. You're talking about us, the fans, tapering our expectations on we need a DM, we need a DM, we need a DM. I don't think that problem has been solved. And especially when you have a player like Wirtz, that's why a lot of people who love football so excited about this kid, because he is this guy. Oh my God. This kid, and as much as I wanted Musiala, this kid it's a workhorse with techs. Like, he will put so much pressure in the midfielders that you won't, the DM position, if you have a good player like Gravenberg, you don't need a destroyer on the team. You need somebody like Endo who's a closer. That one we need. You could bring Baliba and he could learn from Endo, or you could bring another person. But right now, I don't see anybody better than Endo, so we keep him. But before we continue, people, and I'm sorry, I should have done this at the beginning of the show. Ed Mubarak to all my people who are respecting the faith. Ed Mubarak to you guys and your family. Please enjoy and bless us. Give us some, some blessings while you are doing it, right? We appreciate you being in the channel. Thank you so much. Big up to everybody in the building. Thank you. I would like for us to do this debate real quick. I know it's nonsensical. I think Wirtz is going to win, but already, the same thing they did between Nunez and Haaland. Already the City fans have started Cherki versus Wirtz. Why do football fans do this? Nobody knew who Cherki was until he played Manchester United.
Beef Cherki, man. Everyone knew more.
Nobody knew about this kid until he played Manchester United. And yes, he did play a very good game because Manchester United shot. And yes, against Spain, the goal was special. By that time, Spain had already taken out their best players. Am I wrong?
Mm-hmm.
So them beating France 5-1 and then France coming back with an extra 3 goals, the game was already done. It was a good game. It was exciting, but the Spanish showed French that just because you have superstars, football, and again, that's why we have to taper our expectations with getting the best players all the time. Best players in one team does not always work. I could say that in my lifetime, there's seen maybe 3 that have worked. The Brazil team with Ronaldinho and what's the name? R9, Kaká, that Brazil team. AC Milan. I know Irishman knows which AC Milan I'm talking about. Other than that, I'm finding it very hard to find a team that was just as good as that. Maybe the one that come close is Pep Guardiola's Barcelona. Other than that, you cannot tell me all these superstars, even the Galacticos, they didn't win anything. They won a few things, but they didn't win as much as that team that was built with all these players did win. So we have to be very careful. We have to build the team based on the positions that we need and who is going to work hard on that position. That's why for the first time in, I don't know when, PSG has won the Champions League. France, the name on the France list is ridiculous. And they got 5 goals? Are you serious? But again, I don't want to do this Cherki versus...
Our man in the middle, was he? Our man in the middle for France last night, Ibo, letting 5.
You see what I mean? You see what I mean? So, for the sake of it, Cherki versus Wirtz, where do you stand in this, man? It's even a debate. Do you even entertain this?
No. I heard about Ryan Cherki a couple of years ago, and I heard about him because there was a story about him leaving his club or wanting to leave his club.
Yes, I remember that story last year, actually.
Some kind of going on strike type shit, whatever it was. That was. Now, I'm not going to judge any kid. He's a kid, maybe he was being treated like shit by his club, but that was the first time I ever heard of him. And that was why he ended up at Lyon, I think, with, a low valuation. But everyone's like, again, just with broad strokes, just kind of, there was kind of shades of like, oh, he's a new Ben Arfa,
right?
Incredible footballer, one of the best you've ever seen, but attitude stinks.
Yeah.
Now that you can grow out of that, you can change. I'm not saying he's still that same person, but that was literally the first time I ever heard him. And then I was like, but then all the stories like, yeah, incredible talent, amazing technique, blah 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 blah. So yeah, kind of kept an eye on his story ever since then, but didn't expect him to be linked to the likes of us in Man City this year. I knew he was going to leave Leon, but I was thinking Newcastle, you know,
Yeah.
that kind of level of club, Napoli. I
Mhm.
didn't think someone like City, but I just think it's hilarious, and it's been pointed out a couple of times that our window and Man City's
Mhm.
window is a mirror image of what it would have been 3 years ago. We
Yeah.
would have wanted Wirtz and Kirkes,
Yeah.
and they would have wanted Wirtz and Kirkes.
Mhm.
They would have gotten Wirtz and Kirkes, and we would have gotten Cherki and Aitnouri, and
Mhm.
they're getting Cherki and Aitnouri. This is
And guess
exactly
what?
what they used to do to us, and we're doing it to them.
Exact. Thank you, Irishman. Finally. It's funny how you see, this is what I hate about these tacticals, people who speak so well, Irishman. They know how to enunciate and talk about these players like they know them like they are best friends. All of a sudden, Cherki is that dude. Cherki, yes, last year, the year before, actually, it was 2 years ago and people did not pay attention to it. Actually, Klopp was looking at him because he gave him a little resemblance of what Ben Affa or the guy that we try to get by his knee or so-called his knee, and his brother went around and messed
Yeah,
up. What's his name?
Fekir.
Fakir. He gave us that type of vibe, or I would say closer to Coutinho type of player. And Klopp was looking when Klopp was building that midfield, rebuilding that midfield. It was a quick link and then it died out. So I never paid too much attention to it. And then the story that you just talked about, where he go on a strike, and I think that was one of the reasons why, because he wanted out. He wanted to come to Liverpool, but it was Liverpool moved on real quick. That's when I think Szoboszlai came in, and everybody forgot about who that kid was. This year, his name popped out because of what he did for Lyon against Manchester United. People forget that he has not been in the French team. He just got in the French team, I think, recently, right? And then all of a sudden he's tech. Oh my God. Oh, but you guys are the same people who said the same thing about Grealish. There's no difference between Cherki and Grealish. I promise you. Same profile of players. But if he was coming to Liverpool, you know, they would have said, why are we getting this guy? We should have gotten Wirtz. You see those type of Liverpool fans who are never happy. They like certain players when the player is in the rival team, but then that same player comes to Liverpool, all of a sudden this player is not good enough. I promise you, you're going to start hearing that criticism about Wirtz when he comes to Liverpool. Well, I thought he was going to be more like when he was playing for Leverkusen, but it seems like, what's his name? And his slot have turned him into a pressing machine, and he's not this, he's not that. People, what do you want? You know, and just for me to say something real quick about Ryan, Simon said, I'm just looking at the fact that we have 4-time trophies, and by February, Gravenberg has burned out, just my opinion. And you know what? That's a very good point. At first, it was when I was choosing between who's going to be the player I'm going to pay attention to, sink or swim, Gravenberg and Szoboszlai are very close. The reason why is I think Gravenberg, people are going to say Gravenberg is not as good as he was last year. And this is the reason why they're going to say he's not going to be doing that fancy stuff. He's going to cut it down. He's going to play more like the way he played against Arsenal at Anfield, the first half. That's how we're going to be seeing Gravenberg. The manager is not going to have him bombing forward like he did last year. He's not going to be doing too many of that. He's going to sit back, protect the back two or the back four, and then control it from there. He and McAllister or whoever plays with him. And that will save him from getting burned out. You are right. He did get burned out. And I want to know what the manager would do to fix that. And that is not even just him. That was the whole team. The same thing happened the year before, because when Klopp was almost winning the league, when we got to the same place as this year, they all started burning out and they all start falling off. So that's also something that the manager needs to fix. I brought it up before. Good point there, Simon. But yeah, man, Irishman, you made a very good point there. This thing of over sensationalizing players and it's going to be this, it's going to be that. He's one of those players that don't have durability, and that's what Wirtz has. Right now, we have turned into Man City, and people are still talking about, why don't you go get this guy? We were, Irishman, you were trying to see how you're going to fill Szoboszlai, McAllister, Gravenberch, and Wirtz in one team, and then you want to bring Cherki into the mix? How do you make that work?
With a manager who said, now people have gone off on this, small squad, tight squad.
Yeah.
Now, Pep Guardiola gave an interview about 2 weeks ago where he basically said, I've gone to the management and I've said, I don't want players. I don't want 25 players. Said I can't. Now, you can see it's kind of getting to him. He's been saying, look, I can't do this every week where I have 5 players who are top footballers.
Yeah.
And I've got to say, you're staying at home. He said, I'm not prepared to do that. And he said, I've spoken to the board and I said, this is something I will leave because of. Now, he's talking about keeping everybody happy.
Yeah.
That's how he's saying you can't have that many players. Keep the squad you want to play and keep everybody happy. He said, I'm just not prepared to do that anymore. Now, they go out and buy a load of players, but he's making the same point as Slot is making, that it's no one ever, the Slot just came out and said he likes to work with a tighter squad. He never came out and said, I only want to use 14 players. That's been thrown around. Find me that quote. Find me that quote because it doesn't exist.
I've never seen it. I didn't even.
So it's just about wanting to use it. He said, I've always used a smaller group of players, and people say, oh, well, they'll have to learn to live with that in Premier League and Champions League. Pep Guardiola is coming out the guy that's won 4 league titles in a row.
He said the same thing. He said he will quit. He will quit.
Thing. So, yeah, you have to be very careful. Like, I want to bring in someone like Adam Wharton because I don't think he expects to walk into this team and start every game, but you can get him into a team eventually. But there's only 11 spots in this team, and we're starting to fill up with some. This is the issue. This was always going to be the issue,
right?
When we started bringing in quality, because we've got a lot of Simicas's and Endos and Joneses and Elliott's sitting around not getting any minutes. Chiesa's. Once you start upping the quality of just 2 of those guys who are good enough to be starting,
right?
Then you start have these. Oh, it's the conversation switches straight away to, oh, but what about him? What about him? It's like, no, you wanted these people. You wanted this level of quality. You wanted people to come in. Well, guess what? If you have a Wirtz and a new centre forward, someone like Dominic Szoboszlai is going to have to sit down. Because if you think Elliott can't get into this team, Jones can't get into this team on a regular basis, you bring in someone else to play in that position. All of Dom's, again, one of the Arne Slot's first ever interviews where he was talking about Dominic Szoboszlai's numbers, and he said, when he was corrected on what Dom had scored and assisted last season, he said, oh, I think he's doing quite well. And then someone said, well, the numbers are this. And he said, no. And he was correct. He said, no, he actually scored this and this. And he goes, oh, right. Yeah, no, he said, no, that's not good enough. He said, yeah, look, I'm sorry. You do all you need to do. You work, yada, yada. But as an attacking midfielder for a club like Liverpool, I think Dom had like 6 and 4 or something like that. They were low. And he goes, yeah, he thanked your man for correcting him. He said, yeah, those numbers, sorry, he said, at the end of a season, you're going to be judged on your numbers. And he didn't mean running stats. He didn't mean duels won. He meant numbers, goals and assists. That is what you're going to have. That's what you're going to be judged on as an attacking midfielder at a club like Liverpool. And that hasn't changed for Dom. All the hard work he does, yes, he's been praising him for that. But you bring in someone like Wirtz, like this is what I've been saying for a while, man. Our fans have gotten used to watching bang average players and thinking they're good players because we have a good manager that's doing well with them. Like, just wait until you see Wirtz play. And you're going to be like, oh, okay. A lot of fans are going to be like, right, okay, yeah, Dom can sit on the bench. If this guy can get into this team and we can still win games without Dom's running.
Yeah.
And this guy comes in and gets 14 goals from midfield, starts slapping in shots from 30 yards I mean, I think pretty quickly people are going to realize, yeah, we've been dealing with some substandard players here. This is
I
what a
agree.
top player looks like.
Looks like. And that's where Liverpool needs to be at. Where if you take off Wirtz, you bring in on a player like Szoboszlai. The gap between them is very minuscule.
This guy is better than Pete Coutinho, Quasi.
That's saying a lot. That is said. He's only 22 years old.
We haven't seen a player like this at Liverpool in a long time. We've had wide players, but someone in the middle, that real quality.
Yeah,
he's younger than Kwanzaa. He's younger than Jones. He's younger than Harvey Elliott.
Yeah,
and he's already a 130 million pound player. Like, what are
people don't
understand?
People say,
give Elliott and Jones time. Give Elliott and Jones time. No, this is what happens when you're a top player. You're this good, this young.
There's a former player who said, and before I continue, people, please get the likes up. People, get the likes up. We are at 178 between X and YouTube. At least people on YouTube, get us to 40 right now. I know all you guys can hit the like button right now. Please subscribe. Please subscribe. Get us to 450 before the show is over. Please do that. We are getting to 500. And like I said, you want a call-in show? Get me to 500 and we do it. Other than that, if you want to start an call-in show, the Irishman channel already started his. So please subscribe to his and join him when he does. The thing that people don't understand, I was going to say, a former player just said that this is not just good for Liverpool. He says it's actually good for the EPL. It's going to raise EPL standard of, like now people are going to be like, oh, so they are not just a bunch of hardworking players. It's like skillful, up and coming players. Ballon d'Or, he's a Ballon d'Or player coming to teams that we have never seen. They used to build their own Ballon d'Or players, but this is a kid who probably this year is going to be on the top 10 Ballon d'Or list. He's going to be on the top 10. So we have to be very excited about this guy. Now, right. Let's move on from Wirtz. We talk enough about Wirtz. Right now, I want to start my campaign. I was reading on this thing, and somebody said that Liverpool are still looking at ISAK, which I still believe after this next for the rest of the transfer window, we will be spending more time looking at the striker. I think ISAK is that person. Some of you guys say Alvarez. For me, I think it's ISAK. And this right now, this player, ISAK, is the player that's going to take us to dominance. And yes, a lot of people are very concerned about his injury list. But the thing is that people don't get is he's going to make his job is going to be easier than what he's doing at Newcastle. We are not going to be playing the way that we used to burn our players out. This is something that Simon also brought up about how we lost steam. The fact that he's coming in to a player with Wirtz, Salah, Diaz, or Gakpo on the left, bro, all he has to do is be at the right place at the right time. That's all. We are not bringing Wirtz and ISAK to have them play like how the Red Arrows used to play or the way we played last season. We bring in players like ISAK or Alvarez or whoever you think is coming to be like, hey, brother, you sit up there, we will get the ball and we will give it to you. And then you put in the back of the net. That's why I agree that Salah goals might go down, but I think that Salah's assist is going to go high. I think he's probably going to break the record this year. He's going to set a new set of record this year with assists. I think, and that's for me, for that to happen, we need ISAK. Now, ISAK also needs to tell Newcastle, I've got you a trophy. I'm taking you to the Champions League twice since I've been there. It's time for me to move on. Now, if ISAK's plan is to go to Bayern next year, then I say, okay, that makes sense. Stay here because I don't think that Newcastle is going to be in the Champions League again this year. We saw what happened to them the last time, right? They went in, and then it was too much for them.
Do you think they'll get 5 again? Next year, do you think you could
Next
think
year,
England get the
I
five
think
spots again?
England right now is gonna be 5 for the foreseeable future. We are too strong.
Mm.
We are
Making it a bit easier
way,
for these guys, isn't it?
yeah, especially with the coefficient that they get from the Europa and the Conference League. That will always help because the teams that goes to the Manchester United and Spurs
Palace are in Europe now. If Palace do well, that'll even give more points towards it, you know.
Exactly. And then you have Forest, right? So yes, some of these teams, this is their first time, but it's I think that England and the Champions League, we're gonna go far because these Chelsea is a very usually do well in the tournament. City is gonna do better. Arsenal is gonna be there. So I still expect to see 2 English teams in the semifinals. And I expect Liverpool to be one of them.
Yeah, so it's now a 5, potentially a fun.
Another 5, yeah.
I don't like that at all. I don't like this 5th place thing, man.
Oh, and guess what? Spurs, we got 6.
Yeah.
So we are going to get a 5 for next year, for sure. But after that, maybe for back to 4, and then he's going to taper down. But ISAK for us, man, I think ISAK is that player. I understand some people think that we cannot afford him, but I think we can. Liverpool have the money. We were told that Wirtz was 126, but we are giving them 130. A lot of people say ISAK is 150. I don't think he's that much. I think max 120. 125 because I'm trying to be nice. Liverpool is about to lose quite a bit of players. That's the part where people don't get. A lot of the youth and a lot of Semicas is basically gone. Chiesa, we just heard that Chiesa, I think came from Fabrizio, that Chiesa have made it clear that he wants to go back to Italy. Diaz, we don't even know what's going to happen with Diaz, even though Liverpool want to keep him. But if the Saudi comes in with 85 plus more money, he's gone. Barcelona don't have that cash. But if Saudi comes in, unless Diaz say, I don't want to go to Saudi, then that's a wrap. Nunez is going to move on. So already in the front line, you already have 3 left. We are rebuilding the back line too, because we don't know what's going to happen to Kwanzaa and Joey G. The midfield is the only one that I was even surprised we went after Wirtz. I was like, oh, the midfield is solid. He's not even going to worry about the midfield right now. He's just going to go for the front and maybe solidify the back. But then he went and basically the whole team has been got down. So I think we can get ISAK. Everybody that you talk to said that if ISAK is available, Liverpool will get him. And there's been some more publications saying that Liverpool is going to even try to see if they're going to able to get him right now. Now, there's one player that nobody has associated him to Newcastle. And Newcastle is one of probably the 2nd or 3rd best team in transition. Why have you guys associate Gyökeres to Newcastle? Brian, I will step down and have you continue.
I think Gyökeres goes to Man U. I think from just guessing on kind of numbers, to me, Wirtz, Frimpong, and Kerkez, that looks to me like what we can spend without bringing anything in. That to me looks like a 200 million. That's like 40, 35. So yeah, that's basically the 3 of them is basically 200 million. And that to me would sound about right for what we will be able to spend without selling anybody and still be look okay for it. Like it's not just PSR this year. PSR runs over 3 years. And this is the first of the new 3-year cycle. So it's spread out over the next 3 years. And then after that, it would be, well, if you bring in 150, we can spend 145.
Yeah.
Because there'll be agents' fees and there'll be stuff like that. But then you're being clever as well. I think we're being not overly kind of crazy optimistic to say we're relying a lot on Saudi. 60 to 70 for Darwin, a similar price for Diaz. 70, that's 130. again, I'm just spitballing figures. Another 35 for Elliott, 15 for Simicast,
Yeah.
10 for Chiesa, and all of a sudden you're up around bringing in 170 million. But
And what
I
about the
would be with
kids?
Simon. I would be with Simon. I don't think like this would be if Hughes and Edwards were able to pull off Isak to Liverpool.
Yeah.
I just cannot see that happening. I honestly can't. I would love it to happen, but I can't see us being able to actually make that deal happen. Obviously, never say never in football, but that would be to get Wirtz and Isak in the same window. I'd love it to happen, obviously, but like my realist hat on says, no, we ain't going to be able to do that. We ain't going to be able to do it. And then if we did, like, because you're saying we need, even if Kwanzaa and Gomez didn't leave, I would still say we needed a new centre half.
I agree.
You know, so there's that. And if one of them leaves, especially if it was Kwanzaa and then Gomez, because I think they want Gomez to leave because he's not reliable fitness wise.
Yeah.
But they've already come out and said, well, they haven't come out and said, but let it be known that Kwanzaa is available at 50 million. So we could be then looking at a world where, wait a minute, our entire first choice centre halves is Ibu and BVD, and that's it. We need to be really, really careful this summer that we don't end up losing players that we need to keep, not necessarily want to keep, but need to keep, because then you're bringing in 11 new players. I'd love to bring in 7 new players. I'd love to replace Diaz, Nunez, and Jota. And even a case, I would love to replace all those players, but it doesn't really work like that, does it? So my best guess on a quality is we bring in Goncalo Ramos and go for Isak
next
season. But that, I know that isn't like people would like. It's like just do it now. Bring in Wirtz and Isak, and then you're set for the next however many years.
Yeah.
But just the list of people we could be bringing in, man. You know, it's insane when you look at the numbers, and you can make a case for everything. You said to, like, do Liverpool need 10 new first team players? You say no, obviously you don't need 10.
No.
But then when you start breaking it down on an individual player by player,
then you'll be
basis,
like, we need 10.
Yeah, you can do that. You can do that. You can do that. You can do that.
You know what I mean? Because this is the thing. Yes, as much as people also don't want to see it, Slot is trying to break down the club's Jurgen Klopp's DNA from Liverpool.
Yeah, it's the best idea.
You see what I mean? He's breaking that DNA away, where he's like, okay, I need to make this my club, because I surprised. He knows I surprised everybody this year. As much as he believes in himself, and we all know he has shown us that this guy's good. He understands that I need to build my own, because eventually I'm going to get found out. Pep Guardiola just got found out. Hence the reason why they already spent, 225 million in January. They're going to spend maybe an extra 50, 100, 120, 150 this summer. So they're already in the 300s. The thing that they're doing is their wages are going to come down. We are doing the opposite. Our wages are going to go up for sure. But guess what? Liverpool going to be in the Champions League for a long time. So we could balance it out. Liverpool, on the business side of things, we're doing very, very well. So we could factor it out. So PSR, FFP is not on Liverpool's radar for at least the next cycle, right? At least 5 years. And that would depend on our performance on the field. If we fall off on the field and we don't go into Champions League, then yes, we are in trouble. Other than that, we are Gucci for at least 5 years. But that's the part where I get a little bit greedy, and I'm being a hypocrite, because I said people need to temper their expectations and act like royalty, but at the same time, I'm acting like a peasant, saying, no, I want it all. This is the point where we need it all. At least majority of this year, we need it all. And then, like you said, next year we can go for maybe a replacement for Virgil and a striker, right? Or even a replacement for Salah. Like next year, 3 players have to be big time, because you have to get one of them. Either it's going to be for Ibu or Virgil. One of them, it needs to be for Salah. And then you need that striker. So I'm saying we need it all. and majority of them has to be this year, so that next year you just focus on just a little parts here, maybe one big superstar and then 2 supporting acts. So yeah, it is a lot of money and it is a lot of players, but like Irishman said, when you break it down, you were like, "Weesh, Chiesa, he can't stay. Nunez, Diaz, Simicas. We just fixed the right back. We got Bradley and Krimpong, so we Gucci on that side. Konate hasn't signed a new contract. What's going to happen? Kwanzaa and Joey G. Either both of them or one of them are leaving. And then Endo eventually will have to be moved on. So there is a lot of moving parts in Liverpool's team. The good thing about Liverpool team is there is a solid core on the team, Virgil, Salah, and Alisson. So it makes everything else look easier to do. Now we need a striker. We have to have a striker. And yes, I see that Gyökeres is a big-time Amorim fan, and he played under him. But don't discount Newcastle sneaking in and getting Gyökeres, because they could give him the money that he wants. They can give him Champions League. And they can build a team around him, because that's how they play.
They'd love him up there.
They will, oh my God. Gyökeres in Newcastle. Bro, Gyökeres, it's not like me trying to campaign for Newcastle here. The thing is, everybody has moved Gyökeres to Man U, to Chelsea, to Arsenal, to Liverpool, and then besides City. But nobody is talking about Gyökeres to Newcastle, which actually, if you look at his goals, most of his goals is on transition, right? He's very good with transition. He's fast. He's strong. The concern I have for him, for Liverpool, is I don't see how well he plays when teams park the bus. Because when he went against those 2 monsters, he couldn't hang. You know what I mean? So I don't see why people are not associating Gyökeres to Newcastle, because that fan base, the money. I'm just saying, Gyökeres to Newcastle, people need to start looking at that dynamic. But for Liverpool, my campaign is we need to get Isak by crook or crook. Even if we're gonna give Kwanzaa another year, or we're gonna give Joey G another year, we need to get Isak, because having Isak and having Wirtz with Salah and Gakpo and Diaz, the defense will be relaxed. We won't need too many defense. Teams will just try to hit us on a counter attack. But then you come in against these guys with this offensive threat, we will be a better version of Barcelona. Prove me wrong. Barcelona don't have the defense we have. They have the offensive threat. But if we add in Isak and Wirtz, tell me we are not a better team than Barcelona. You see what I'm going with this, Brian?
Yeah, there's nothing against it. It's just getting it done.
Right.
It's getting it done. It's pulling it off. It's Ocean's 11. It's type of job. And you really gotta, and I think that would have taken all summer. It's just I haven't seen a single peep out of anybody saying anyone's trying to buy him, because maybe Newcastle have shut the door. You know, I just think it's more doable next year, because I think I just smell a 3-year plan. You know, year 1 we do this.
Yeah.
Year 2 we do that. Just what Rose Lassie is saying there. What he did in the second season of Feyenoord, clubs map these things out. They look, he did this, he did this, he did this. They'll know he's coming in, taking over from Slot. And as I said, other than the midfield, this team has grown old together. Robbo, Trent, Ali, Virgil, Gomez, Mo Salah, even Lucho Diaz to a degree. A lot of these players have been around a long time. Elliott, Jones, been around a long time. So year 2, I think last year we refreshed the academy, got rid of a lot of players that weren't going to make the step up, brought in Rio, brought in Leone, Nalo. Rio is starting to show promise now. So now I think this season could be, again, we might have to take a little bit of pain. It isn't what you would normally prescribe. But if you need to go big on making a lot of changes, do it now, get as many done now as is prudent. But as I said before, you're not you're keeping Ali, you're keeping Ibu, you're keeping Virgil, Gravmack, Mo Salah. So you still got the spine of this
We
team.
got a spine, so Bosalai.
You know, so you're only getting rid of the likes of Elliot, Simicast, Endo, Chiesa, moving on, selling, whatever, you know. Those kind of squad players, fringe players, and then you're bringing in a lot of new players, new energy. But maybe this is year 2, and then like in year 3, like you were saying, then we only need 2. Then it could be that then we go out and we spend Wirtz money on a striker next year.
And this is the thing too. People are assuming that next year the striker market is going to get better. It's not going to get better for at least 5 years until there's a generational shift in how managers realize that, hey, this 4-4-3 or false 9 thing is getting old. It's not working anymore. Until that happens, the striker market is not going to be that great. Next year is same thing, unless we also know in the World Cup you don't buy players coming from the World Cup. That's a bad idea. So you get them before they go in. That's why I am so adamant that we have to get ISAK or Alvarez this year and then worry about what we need next year. Because I believe that if Chiesa leaves, that position is for real. You see what I mean? That position
Rio's getting in our squad next year.
He's getting in the squad next year. He is getting in the squad next year. All right. In the midfield, if we don't get a DM like Simon was saying, guess who's getting there? Young Trey. And then we have Bacetic also in the work. So you could save money with those for this year, and then next year assess it again and say, I don't think Trey or Bacetic gonna cut it. Let's go get Baliba. I believe Baliba is not going anywhere this year because teams have way more pressing issues than a DM right now. DM is not a problem for the big clubs. Maybe Manchester United, but they don't have the cash. But for the solid DMs, I don't think you're going to see too much moving. That's why Henderson is moving to Saudi Arabia. You know? So I think that and I'm going to be on this soapbox till the end of the transfer window. Liverpool, and Irishman is right. There's not been too many people moving in for ISAK because maybe right now Newcastle is still debating, should we let him go and make as much money now, or should we keep him for the Champions League and then see what happens next year? But the thing is, next year you're not going to make the same amount of money. Unless he balls out of control, then you'll be like, oof, we could still make what, between 80 to 100 next year because next year he got 1 more year left. He got 2 years this year. So the most money, he's the same boat as Wirtz. If most money he could get from ISAK is this year. And then also
with those boys, sorry, Kazi, but look, without wanting to kind of say anything, but out of turn, but those Saudi owners at Newcastle are not used to people taking their things. They're used to buying what they want and getting what they want. They are not used to the idea of, sorry, helicopter. Sorry, search and rescue helicopters going overhead. Sorry. No, they're used to getting what they want, putting up the money and get what they want. They're not used to clubs coming along and taking their things. So they will stand firm. They will stand really, really firm. I think it will be the operation of the decade to get him out of that club.
Right.
It really would be. But look, he's the man. Like I was saying a couple of weeks ago, Wirtz, the way I was describing it is like, if there was a list of players a couple of years ago that someone said to you, like, okay, name 5 players that you would absolutely love to have at Liverpool, you would give your right arm to have at Liverpool, but you know you're never getting. Like, you know they're a pipe dream kind of thing. You know, you'd be like Pedri, Lamal, you know, these kind of guys. Wirtz would have been one of those guys for me.
Yeah.
Because Wirtz is a player that I've just thought, if we could ever get this guy, but I just thought, nah. Even if he does become available, it'll be Real Madrid or it'll be Bayern Munich or it'll be Man City, maybe. It's as good as we got. I just think so. The fact that we've changed that narrative now, to show, because this isn't just us signing Florian Wirtz. This is us saying to every other player in world football that we're interested in,
we can get
we're
you.
the kind of club that signs Florian Wirtz.
Exactly.
We ain't
Exactly.
signing Cherki and Eight Nouri. We're signing Florian Wirtz.
And that's what I'm trying to get Simon to believe, talking about, no. Listen, Irishman, as much as Irishman is saying this, he's also tapered his expectation too, knowing that certain things could be impossible. But what he's basically saying is, we can sign you if you want to come here. And that's what Liverpool does. We don't sign you if you, the only time we went for a player who didn't want us was Caicedo. We were just trying to bully ourselves in and trying to sneak him in, but it didn't work. Zubimendi, he said yes, and then he changed his mind. And from what we see nowadays, this guy can never decide. I wonder how he wears his underwears, blue or red. But this is a thing that we are in a new place where we have to appreciate what the hard work and the crying that some of you guys have done about FSG out, blah, blah, blah. Now we are the place where if the player says, I want to come to Liverpool, Liverpool can get you in. We won't let people, you won't bully us. Yeah, the player is going to be expensive. We will pay, but it's not going to be like how PSG did, Barcelona did to PSG, or we did to Barcelona. Right? So if we are here and we said, you know what, we can get ISAK, and ISAK has given us the green light, say, if you guys could get me out, I'm coming, just like Wirtz did. Bro, Edwards, Hughes, Uncle J-Dub signed the check. Because guess what? One thing that people don't understand about our owners, they love to win. They have built, this is the part that people don't understand, and I'm going to say it again. They have built an image that they go to clubs or ball clubs that don't win, who are historical, and they don't win. And because of us, they win. They did it with the Red Sox. It was 86 years. You thought 30 years was bad? It was 86 years of torment from the, what those teams called? The Yankees. 86 years, people. And when these guys came in, within the first 5 years, back to back, and another one. They have the same story with Liverpool right now. Now they're doing the same thing with the Penguins, the NHL team that they own. So they are into building a storyline about, because of us, it doesn't matter. We will come to you even if you don't win. We will make you win. That's how their story is. Yes, they don't just go in and spend it willy and nilly. They're not going to do that. They're going to always do the smart thing. It's frustrating and it's annoying. It takes a long time. But then when you get there, guess what? They spend the money. Did you guys know that Red Sox at one point was the second highest wage bill? The only ball club that was over them was the Yankees.
That's the one thing I've always said about American owners is the idea of paying someone. We talk about big wages. Look, I know it's a totally different sport over there. It don't have transfer fees. But the idea of paying big wages to people for the best is what they're brought up on. They don't shy away. They're like, if you turn around and go, oh, this guy, he's the best in the world, and you tell them it's going to be X amount of money a week, they're going to be like, well, yeah, that's cool. We're paying some guy $50 million a year to play baseball. Yeah, $300 million contracts to people to play baseball. They're not afraid. Like they're not. It's the club's money. They'll always spend the club's money, not their own. But they're not afraid. They're aware of. They may not be football people, but they know that in sport, if you want the best, you got to pay. You got to pay the best wages.
You got to pay. Simon, if I believe that if Diaz moves on, Rodrigo will be one of the people they're looking at. But right now, report that came out said he doesn't want to move. So it'll be very, very hard to change his mind.
Diaz or Rodrigo?
If Diaz leaves, Nico Williams, Rodrigo, Gordon, as much as I don't want him. And then there's another player that is on the list, Kudus. But Kudus, I don't like Kudus. Kudus will be like the last option because of the AFCON situation. You know
I
what I
think
mean?
Kudus is massive gamble. I think
Yeah,
he's a massive
Kudus and
gamble.
Salah leaving at the same time. Nah. Even if Kudus doesn't start, he's still part of the depth of the squad. It's gonna affect us, right? But I know for sure Rodrigo will be part of the. If Rodrigo wants to leave,
Yeah.
if he wants to go, trust me, Liverpool will not be the only club that will be going after him.
Well, that was the
Arsenal,
story a week ago that he wanted out.
yeah, he wanted out and then he changed his mind. So
Oh, he's changed his mind, has he? I
yeah,
didn't see
he
that.
changed his
Okay,
mind. He
all
said
right.
he
Yeah.
wants to stay. But if he decide, this is the thing, people don't get it. These superstars, it's up to them if they want to leave. Just like Wirtz. Wirtz said, I want to go. They said, okay, good. Go to Bayern. He said, nope, I'm going to Liverpool. And he made it simple. Right? But before we continue, people, please hit the like button. Please hit the like button. There's almost 200. We are 3 people away from 200 people in the chat right now. People, thank you so much. And again, for all the people who are observing, Ed Mubarak to you and your family. Please hit the like button. And then there was a little bit sad news earlier about the Liverpool former academy coach who passed away. RIP to him and his family. We send blessings and prayers to them. 201 people in the building. Thank you, Irishman. You are a genius, man. You coming in have made my day. Everybody out here. Please, if you don't know, go to the Irishman Football and subscribe. Please, we're trying to get to 450. So somebody, have we gotten to 450 yet? And how does the likes looks like, people? How does the likes looks like? Do we need to pause and have people hit the likes? Hit the likes, people. It doesn't hurt. Hit the likes. I got a couple haters who keep putting the thumbs down. So let's overcome them. Hit the like. Hit the like.
It's all engagement. It's all engagement. Even a thumbs down shows up. Even a thumbs down is good. Shows engagement.
Yeah, it is. It's all engaging. Yes, sir. Thank you. Okay, Simon Sekwesi, you are funny. Respect, but ISAK going to ask to go to lose loyalty, payment, ultimately fee. Bro, ISAK right now, if he decides to leave, Newcastle fans, you can't hate him. Since he's been there 3 years, he's been there. He's giving you a trophy and 2 Champions League. Arsenal fans can't even say that. He has given you people something that Arsenal has not even gotten yet. And he's giving you guys a whole lot of money too. Come on. Liverpool goes, our wage bill was the 4th highest in Europe last season. Oh, it's going to go up now. I think it's probably going to be 2nd. Nico Williams' wages too high. He wants 400K. So, no, I mean, trust me, if Diaz leaves.
That's why he ain't moving.
That's why he ain't moving.
Because somebody that good with a 51 million release clause, absolutely nothing. Why do you think he's not moving? Because of the wage. Yeah. It's the same with Osimhen. Yeah. Osimhen couldn't agree wages with a Saudi club.
Bro, I was going to say that.
Bear that in mind.
That's what I was going to say that. Some of these players, I mean, what's the name? Even Mbeumo, who's going to Man U, says, I want 250.
Come on, man. This is the world we're living in. Sesko and Ekitike, after a tiny portion of their career, are 80 million.
1 year,
you need to walk away. You need to walk away.
No, walk away. You don't need those type of players. He said, Liverpool Goals TV, they are going to have a lot of spare time on their hands before they go back to school. Okay. Simon said, Chrissy, I am only saying Rodrigo because Mike Wedred has only admired him and try to sign him. Yeah, I remember that. But I'm saying if Rodrigo says, I don't want to play on the right side, it's making me, because he's not doing well playing on the right side. Let's be honest. There's 2 players ahead of him on the left side, Mbappe and Vinicius. So if he decides that he wants to leave, I'm pretty sure Liverpool will be in there trying to make something happen, because Rodrigo is a quality player, and that's if Diaz leave. Because right now, I don't see any player better than Diaz on the left side. You see what I mean?
You were talking about earlier on, Quasi, that guy David Lynch. He said that he's heard things from the club before that were a little bit but whatever. He said the club wants we play with a front three, right?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it becomes a 4-2-4, but we play with three up top,
Mm-hmm.
and so are we starting that formation?
Yeah.
They want six, like everyone says, two for every position.
Yeah.
The club wants six, but they consider Rio to be the sixth.
Yep.
That's how highly rated this kid is. Not
Mm-hmm.
saying he's going to start games in the Premier League next year, but they're not going to bring in a 17 or 18-year-old
Mm-hmm.
left winger, top young player,
Mm-hmm.
because that'll block him. They
Yeah.
might bring in a Diaz replacement,
Mm-hmm.
like someone older than that, but Rio is so highly rated by everybody at the club
Mm-hmm.
that they have six spots up front and they consider him to be the sixth player.
And at this point, before I continue, people, this is Irishman's channel, Anfield Irishman. Please, if you haven't, go there and subscribe. This is what I was going to say too, and somebody brought it up. He said we've seen Lamela, we've seen all these kids for all these leagues and all these clubs come out and ball if you give them the minutes. If they're good, they will stand out. And I think Liverpool needs to start doing that. Yes, it's fun to spend the money, spend the cash if you have it. But we have Rio, who is a talent. He's a yes, don't overdo it. Don't overdo it. He needs to work his way because the English league is different, right? It's too aggressive, and we don't want him to get hurt so early. We saw what happened to Elliott. But let's give this kid some time because this kid is going to be special. He's going to be special. He has Salah to learn from. He has Diaz to learn from. He got Gakpo. Even Chiesa. As much as Chiesa doesn't get playing time, that guy, his football brain it's something else. So this is the best time to give this kid more time so that after the World Cup, everybody will be like, is Liverpool getting a left winger because Diaz is gone? We're like, nope, we already got him. Now Gakpo has to fight with a young kid. That's how I'm looking at it. Zubimani clicking the thumbs down, Kwesi. I bet it's him.
We dodged a bullet with that guy.
Oh, we dodge a bullet. Oh, we dodge a bullet.
First off, he's homesick before he's even left home.
Bro.
Now he's got second thoughts because Madrid are fluttering the eyelashes. Come on.
We were told he's coming to Arsenal now. Apparently, he put it on pause because he's waiting for Alonso.
Because Alonso is his hero. You know, seriously, we don't. Was he only yeah. What was he thinking? Like he's come to Liverpool and then Alonso will show up there eventually or whatever. I don't know.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. We don't need that kind of player. Yeah, well, I'm glad we did. We almost signed Osimhen in January, but apparently contract issues and payment Napoli owed to Osimhen bugged the deal up. That is also, nobody wants to deal with Napoli, man. That owner is something else. I thought there will be a bid for Nunez before the Club World Cup. No, I think Nunez is going to go make money. He's going to Saudi. I think he's going to Saudi. And if anything, Nunez is probably going to be towards the end of this the transfer window.
Well, Nasser are trying to renegotiate with Ronaldo right now.
I thought he was retiring.
Yeah, he's come out and said today that he won't be going to the Club World Cup, and they're not going to.
Oh, okay.
I assume. But maybe they are. I don't. But he said he won't be joining. Like he had offers to go and play for Inter Miami, Botafogo, and someone else just for that Club World Cup thing. And he said today he said he's not going to do it. But apparently Al Nassr are trying to renegotiate his deal with him.
Okay.
So, but if they don't get him, it seems to be like, if they don't get him signed up, then all of a sudden they'll start making moves from other players.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know. I'm surprised, but I am surprised that one of these clubs in Saudi hasn't already come in because it was all set with Nunez. Nunez had agreed a contract with Al Hilal, I think it was.
Yeah.
That fell through, and they went and got John Duran from Villa instead. But he had agreed a deal. He'd agreed to, so he's obviously quite happy to go to Saudi.
Yeah, he wants to go. I think he will go.
Yeah, I'm very surprised that like Red is saying that there wasn't one of the clubs that's over there. I don't know. That's trying to make a move for him because what are they waiting for? What's the whole like? If I was after Darwin, I would just be going and getting it done. I'm a little bit, concerned that some of these players we want to move on that we might not have the market we expect. But maybe there is just something where the Saudis are waiting for this, and then if that happens, then they'll just go and boom, phone call to Liverpool. That £75 million offer is back on, and he goes straight away.
The Saudi League is getting better and better every year, man. They're getting the right. They're not doing like how the Chinese try to buy everybody, but they're doing it the right way. It's. I think it's gonna get better. It's gonna catch up to some of these super, other big countries' leagues. Zubimendi is a red flag that he is. His role model is Alonso. Yeah, he needs to learn from Alonso. Alonso left his comfortable place and came to Liverpool and went to Bayern and then went back to Madrid. So he is not learning from Alonso. He's learning from somebody else. Nobody know who it is. I think he's learning from Arteta instead. Oops, did I say that? Napoli owners are mafias. Zubimendi choosing his mountains over the move to Liverpool is a blessing in disguise. Facts. CR7 wants to go to Club World Cup.
No, he came out Abdul, check Twitter. He came out and he gave an official announcement today, say he won't be playing in it.
Okay.
So,
and which club?
Botafogo tried to sign him for it.
Okay.
Botafogo, and Inter Miami made him an offer because this is Infantino's baby, this thing.
Yes.
And he wanted, because the ticket sales in America are really poor for this. It's not doing well numbers wise. And Infantino wanted Inter Miami to take him on so that he would have Ronaldo and Messi on the same team.
Oh my God!
To get eyes on it. I mean, that's all. It's all about money. It's all about money. And apparently, this isn't going very well purely in terms of ticket sales in America. This thing is not catching fire at all.
I'll tell him why it's not catching fire.
Because it's a load of shite.
It's not even that. The politics. The orange guy he has turned this place into a zoo with immigration service. I'll leave it at that. That's why people are to say. That's why even the tourism in this country has gone down. It's affecting a lot of people, and people don't get it. But they will see. Why don't you like Osimhen? Osimhen is not clinical enough for me to play with. Osimhen, I've never seen Osimhen do well with his back to a goal. Osimhen it's not like Didier where when his back to a goal, he's still going to score. Osimhen doesn't do well when he's playing against a team that's pragmatic. He's very strong. He's very powerful. But, brother, this is the thing that people need to understand. That's the same problem that Gyökeres is having. When you come to this league, the defenders are strong and powerful. How do you deal with that? You're not going to bully all of them. I mean, look at Haaland. He did the first year. After that, look at him. He's been more injury prone this year than he has ever in his entire career. So it's not that easy. Yeah, you were a bruiser, but even Didier, it took Didier a while for him to get used to it. Osimhen is not. Even Osimhen was clinical where he can play well without the ball. I would have been like, yeah, let's get him. But maybe in January, that's why we need it. But now, the way we want to play, I don't think he's the guy. Saudi, please save us. I don't want Zubimendi. Leao, same thing. I mean, Osimhen is a hard working, but Leao is not consistent. He's those type of players that they choose when they want a ball. That's why I don't want those type of players. I want a player.
Bayern are looking at him because they're looking at Gakpo. They're definitely going to lose.
Liverpool and selling Gakpo.
They're going to lose potentially, probably Coman and Sane.
Yeah, so Coman and Sane are leaving. Yeah.
They want to left wing. That's why it makes sense why they were trying to get Gakpo, but that won't happen. I think his agents are trying to use that to get a better deal out of Liverpool.
Okay.
As well. But they're definitely looking at left winger, and apparently now they're looking at Rafael. But I would not want Liverpool. Yeah,
no, I don't want anybody to. I would need to see more maturity from him before.
I'm sure his highlights reels would look amazing, but I've seen him in games where
we played against him.
Yeah, he was irrelevant. Basically.
Yep. Atletico still interest in Nunez. Irishman, what's your realistic signing this summer? Thanks.
Oh, I put in, yeah, Wharton and Ramos, Goncalo
Mm,
Ramos at PSG to fill that number 9 role. Wharton to come in as give Gravenberch some room, and that would be on top of Wirtz, Kerkez, and Frimpong, obviously.
mm,
And then after that, a kind of guy you've never heard of type
mm.
centre half, some guy like Diamende who's been brought up today. One of these guys that some people will know, but
Yeah, but they're still available from Sporto. I
somebody
mean,
like that.
Spartan.
Yeah, a centre half that can come in that will be kind of a rotation option
Mm,
with Ibu. Maybe can come into the team after a couple of seasons fully. Just something like that.
mm,
Not a big star name, but Adam Wharton and
mm.
Goncalo Ramos, I think, would be two really very high quality, but also very solid type signings.
I mean, how do you deal with Adam Warden and McAllister?
Just you'd be losing potentially an Endo then, and
Mm,
it'd be just upgrading the squad slightly.
yeah,
But Adam Morton to come in not as a starter, but
yeah.
yeah, 80 odd
Hey,
games in the season or 60 odd games hopefully.
you never walk alone. Yeah, maybe that's why he changed his mind. He checked with his lawyers, and they'd be like, "Bro, if you step foot here, they were and World Cup is coming." So, I've watched Osimhen play so many times, both for club and country, and trust me, he's terrible. Oh my god, I'll be on that hill, bro. You and me both, man. Anyone watch Club World Cup, money talk, hype politics? Yeah, this if this thing doesn't pop up well, man, and he chose the wrong country to start it with. I'm sorry, he chose the wrong country to start it with. He should have started in Europe or South America, get the buzz going, and then bring it to America.
But they want
Uh,
to use it quasi. I think they're using it as a kind of a trial run from for the World Cup as well, aren't they?
yes,
They're
yes,
using
yes,
it
yes.
as
The
a kind of a
logistics,
trial
yeah.
run for that. Yeah.
Mhm. He said, good choice. Wharton not going this summer, and Ramos not sure, worried he will. I think Wharton needs a one solid good year. He had too many injuries this year. Because if he goes to a big club, he's gonna be a stopgap. But he needs to play consistently. He needs one good year, another good year at Palace, be the one that takes him far in the Europa or Conference League, whatever, and then move on. Just like how what's his name? Uh, um, oh, I forgot his name. The player who did the Cunha, same thing with Cunha. Cunha is going to Man U after he wanted to leave 2 years ago, actually. Um, let's see. Yeah, man. So, people in the chat, do you have any questions for us so we can dissect this? Because recapping, I still believe that Wirtz thing is gonna be done. Oh yeah, good call, good point. Gehi in the center back. If we lose Joey G or we lose Kwanzaa, I don't mind getting Gehi.
He only has a year left on his
Yeah,
deal
he,
now,
he
so
he's definitely a Liverpool. You remember you were saying a center back where it's not a over whatever. Gehi will be the perfect one because guess what? He's prem proven. He can give Konate a rest. Especially during the Champions League games, he can give Konate a rest, and then Konate can play the Champions League, and then he plays the league game before the Champions League. You get what I'm saying? Because he's proven, so you don't have to worry about anything. But that's a shot. I don't mind getting him. He said, I don't know why we are not for Ilya Zabari. I have always said he's better than Hodgson, underrated player. Do you know who that guy is? I don't think I paid attention.
Zabarni, he's at Bournemouth.
Oh, Bournemouth. Okay.
There's someone else is trying to buy him. I can't remember their name.
Mm.
There's a big club that's trying to buy him. I think it's Barcelona, maybe. But yeah, he won't be there next year. Someone is
Somebody's gonna scoop him.
someone's trying to buy him. I can't remember the
Mm.
name. I read it yesterday. Yeah, they're
Yeah.
losing potentially Hyson and Carquez and Zabarni.
Yeah.
So
No, that's oh Nas. Oh yeah, I see what you're talking about. Bournemouth have some gems in their squad, man. They do have some gems.
yeah,
I won't be mad if even Semenyo, I don't mind getting Semenyo, man. But like we said, we want Rio to come up, so that's a non-starter.
PSG. Oh, yeah. Rouse saying it's PSG are trying to buy him.
Oh,
So,
PSG is trying to get him.
Yeah, good luck keeping him, Bournemouth.
She says sounds like Zuberi. He said Irishman Wharton will only come if he's first 11 player. He won't want to be a squad player. Otherwise, guys only validate my opinion with new rotate graph. Henderson. Yeah, but Henderson also wants to play. Remember, he is Brazil, very important player for Brazil. He wants to start. That's why he's going to. That's why he's going
I just
to
think
Saudi.
someone like Wharton can come in.
Wharton will have to fight with McAllister.
Yeah, it won't be. Yeah, it will be. Does he want to come in and does he want to fight for his place?
Yeah,
definitely.
he
He's
will
not
have
going
to
come in
fight
and
with
start.
McAllister.
Oh, I know that.
Yeah,
but I just think as a squad, you were talking about realistic signings, and I just thought maybe he'd be someone who for next 4 years come in, see how it goes. Costs a lot of money. I know. He's a top player, but we're only after top players.
Yeah,
so.
I like him. The year before, actually, remember the year that they beat us at Anfield? He was a ball. Oh man, last year, this past season, the injuries have slowed him down. That's why I'm saying if I was him, don't go any else. Stay in Palace and get your form back to the highest level. And then the year after, you're gonna be in Europe, right? So there's
they got Europe.
Yeah, don't force it out because he reminds me of Wilshere. If we sign a center back, it will be Hato or someone in his age range around 19. Hato will be my choice. I love Hato. I really do.
That's about right. Yeah, you want someone who's kind of up and coming, but it's you're also dependent then on Ibo and VBD staying fit. And then let's just say, Quasi, let's put ourselves in a very realistic position here, right? We've got a game coming up on Sunday against Manchester City. Virgil picked up a yellow card and he's out for the game. He's been suspended. And Ibo has an ankle knock and he can't play. What are we doing?
That's our problem now. That's the problem right now. Because
that's not an end of world scenario. That's just Virgil and Ibo happen to be out on the same weekend. One gets suspension, one gets a tiny little knock and he can't play. What are we down to? Immediately, Kwanzaa and Gomez.
Yeah, that ain't gonna work. And you don't have the fullbacks to deal with that kind of pressure. Remember, our fullbacks are forward-thinking fullbacks.
Or people want to rest. We have a semi-final against Real Madrid, and people are saying calling for people to be rested last year. Okay, so you want to give VBD a weekend off because it's only Southampton or something.
Yeah.
Okay, so who's playing? Is it Gomez or Kwanzaa?
That's what I'm saying.
Light there.
We're very light in the
center back, and people can't see it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. If you get Gehi, that takes out the problem right there. He is proven.
Is he going to start every game? No. Is he going to be? Who knows? But maybe he forces his way in against Ibo. You need healthy competition, man.
Even Virgil should not be playing 60-odd games, Irishman.
Ibo has no competition. So what? Think he might get sloppy? Do you think he generally sees Kwanzaa over his shoulder now? No competition for him. You need people biting at people's heels to drive those players on to perform to their best. Because as soon as they get comfortable and they think, well, I can have a bad game next week, I'll still get in the Madrid team, or I'll still get in the team from Madrid. It's like you got to have that healthy competition. You got to get people saying, "Oh, anyone who comes in is going to want first team football."
Of course,
not necessarily.
World Cup season.
Not necessarily. If you're bringing in certain players and you tell them they're going to play, it's not like they walk in the door and you say, "Right, you're not starting the weekend." They're going to say, "Oh, hang on, you told me I was going to start."
Right.
You're going to sit down with players. You're going to work out their role. Like Florian Wirtz sat down with Bayern with Vinny Company, and he told him where he saw him playing for Bayern. He was like, "Nah, that ain't going to work for me."
Yeah.
He didn't like it. So you'll sit down with players. They'll need to know. So you're bringing in. You can't say, "Oh, we can't buy somebody." We need to upgrade. You can't say, "Oh, we can't buy somebody because he'll expect to play every game." You bring in somebody who not happy to sit on the bench, but someone who knows their role in the squad. There are plenty of players out there like that, So there's always, if you tell me we can't upgrade Joe Gomez, then I think you're crazy.
And that's what I'm saying. I'll keep mentioning. Well, Irishman, you know the manager have used Gravenberg as a center back numerous times, so that maybe that's his in his psyche. Maybe that's why he's not too pressed. Because
And that's just
not,
about Gomez. It's just about Gomez in terms of age and injury record. And like he was a top player in his time. It's not he's a bad player, but
yeah.
you know, it's just
Big up to
it's the
Agri
profile.
Paul. Big up to Agri Paul. Thank you for joining us. Please hit the like button. People, hit the like button, man. Hit the like button. We're killing it right now. We're killing it right now. Any questions for us before we get out of here, people? Well, any questions? What do you guys think? I think this Cherki versus Wirtz needs to be put in bed. There's no starter right there. I don't think that's even an argument to start. Guys, that's why center back is a priority. Kwanzaa, Ibu, and Gomez really not quality. Nkape versatile. Maybe Nkape might be on the books too. Nkape from Leverkusen, but is Leverkusen trying to sell all their center backs to Liverpool? No. I mean, all their best players to Liverpool? That's a Southampton situation there. My preference would be a good and experienced center back that trick is finding someone prepared to hold bench. Yeah, that's true. But the thing is, they don't have to hold bench. They need to come in and say, I'm going to put pressure on. Virgil is not going to play it every single game. He needs to rest. Okay? He's not spring chicken anymore. Konate will also need competition. So if you bring someone like Gehi can put pressure on Konate for sure. That will give him some more minutes. Even Diamante is a solid player. He got pace. He's strong. He can put pressure on Konate. It's up to those players, man. You can't just come in and be comfortable. Like I think Simicas just too comfortable. And this is one thing that Irishman I want us to say before we get out of here. Why is everybody think that Kirkers is just going to come in and just going to take over the left back?
Oh well, I think it's more like I think there's just to switch it. I think there's a kind of an assumption that Frimpong is our starting right back now.
You see,
I don't think that's a guarantee at all either. I think Connor Bradley could be saying,
yeah,
first game of the season, wherever it is, at Anfield or away. I'm not at all surprised if fitness and form Bradley starts.
Yeah,
I don't think it's a given now that Frimpong is our starting right back. I think he might have to. I could be completely wrong, I don't know.
Yeah,
but
he has to compete.
It's an assumption.
People think that. See, this. Let me tell you, people, about player like Robo. Robo, have you guys seen the tweet that he's posting? That's a guy who's saying, "Oh, you're not coming in to take my spot. You have to, bro." Robo, people gonna see a new version of Robo. Is he gonna do that the whole season? Probably not. His age will eventually caught up to him. But Robo is gonna make it very hard for Kirkers to take over that position unless the manager says, "That's my boy." Robo is going. You're gonna see the same thing we were talking about Soboslai and that kind of sink or swim situation there. I think he's also on the same diet. He is not done yet. He just had maybe 18 months of subpar season of the best. Probably he was the best left back in the world for a couple of years, and we've seen that he's not that anymore. But Kirkers is not coming in and slotting in just like that. Players like Robo, they've seen things. You have to take it away from him. You know what I mean? You have to take it away from him. So people are already putting Kirkers in the lineup, or he's going to do that. That will only happen if the manager says so. But if he's going to open it up and say, Robo, you and this kid is going to fight for it, I promise you, it's not going to be a Kirkers just coming in and taking a position freely and easily. Do you agree or disagree?
I disagree. I think Kirkes will come in and take the role. I think he will. Yeah, I think it will bring this is one I was talking about re-energizing the squad with these two young fullbacks. It isn't just even in that area. It's it's going to bring. You might get one more top season out of Robbo because he's determined to fight and keep his place. Whereas the battle between him and Simicas has become quite old now. Like that was just
Yeah, that was
just
over.
in terms of just refreshing things, letting things
Yeah.
get stale. It's not about the quality of the players, it's just things are getting stale.
Mm-hmm.
So you bring a new competition for Robbo,
Mm-hmm.
it bumps him up, but I think Carquez will come in and take
Mm-hmm.
pretty much from the start. But I think Frimpong has a much bigger fight on his hands. But
Mm.
I would love to see Robbo, pretty much giving it all the talk and pushing this guy every day in
Mm-hmm.
training to make sure that he knows that Robbo hasn't given up.
Mm.
And he's already given the quotes about. He says, "Look, we're not stupid. Know what's going to happen."
Yeah.
But
Robo is not gonna give the. He's not gonna let go that
no,
easy. Which at the end of the day,
it's
guess
good
what? Who
for us.
wins? Guess who wins?
Liverpool.
Liverpool.
Liverpool. Exactly. Good for us.
That's the
You've
whole
got
point.
Carquez knowing he has a fight on his hands,
He has to step up.
and Robbo knowing he's got a young pretender. This is what I'm talking about. Competition, biting at your
Thank
heels.
you. See, this is the part where people are, we getting this guy, just put him in. Just getting this guy, just put him in. Trying to cramp up all these best players in the squad. It doesn't work like that. They are locked in for 9 months. They have to compete with each other. How do you motivate these guys to stay where they are for a long period of time? It's hard.
Looking over your shoulder. You got to be
Exactly.
looking over your shoulder.
And
Always.
competition will do that. And it's also World Cup season too. Everybody wants to play for their respectful country. Somebody did ask about this gentleman. This is the new goalkeeper we signed. The young, he's from Hungary, and we're building a little pocket of country to country players. We have the Netherlands contingent. We used to have the Brazilian. We used to have the African. Now we build the Hungarian side. So welcome, young player, young Amin. Good to see you. You never walk alone. So big up to Liverpool for signing a young player. See, people think that he has Alisson style of goalkeeping, which I hope he learns. He's going to learn from the best. And guess what? Kirkers reminds me of Robo. So you're going to learn from the original man, right? So it makes it better for us. Abdul said Martin, Elliott, Gomez, and Kwanzaa needs to go. Jones used as rotation. I think Jones will stay. If you pay 45 for a left back, he's getting in sooner rather than later. True. That makes sense. But
Quasi,
yes, sir.
I was going to say to Red Armchair. Let's rewind. Let's rewind the tapes because there's a memory, which is fair, that we signed Robbo. Robbo came in,
and he's on the bench.
He was on the bench for a long time. Moreno was still in that team.
And
Robbo had to wait. Robbo had to wait until Moreno made that mistake in Europe.
Got injured.
And finally came in, and that was it. Even Robbo didn't walk into this team. Again, now you look back and you think, I'll be Moreno versus Robbo. That's a total no-brainer.
Yeah.
But he still had to come in and earn his place and finally get into, and he never lost his place after that. Moreno was gone. But it was the same with Fabinho.
Yes, people forget
always bring
that.
up this story. Always bring up this story. If you look it up, it might still be on the internet. I don't know. But coming up to the Christmas, the year that we bought Fabinho that everybody was so mad about, coming up to the Christmas, there was a story about him coming up to the January window. There was a story about Fabinho going back to PSG on loan, or going to PSG on loan, go back to France, because he'd had so little game time in the Liverpool team. He'd only had 5 minutes in the team. He barely played. Then once he was up to speed with Pop, he got in the team and never dropped out. So this assumption that Frimpong is going to just be bang straight away or starting them. I don't see it that way. I don't see
Bradley's going to give him a tough fight.
Yeah, he's a huge part.
And you saw what he did to Trent. He forced Trent to give us some minutes. So
brand new deal just signed the day we signed Frimpong. The day we announced the sign of Frimpong, we announced
we gave
Bradley
him a brand
signing
new deal.
a new 75 grand a week. He's on more than Luis Diaz. Bradley is on more than Luis Diaz.
Luis Diaz needs to fire his agent. Pedro NKH, big up yourself. Thank you for joining in. Please hit the like button, people. He said, what do you think, Corsi? What do you think about Bastoni and Brentworth from Everton? Brentford is a player, but I don't think Everton will ever sell to Liverpool. So that's where I don't mind having him because I think he's an up-and-coming good center back. I think his ceiling is higher than Gehi right now. But he didn't do too well this past season. Maybe it's because of change of managers. They were horrible at the beginning of the season until the genius that is David Moyes came back. But Bastoni, I'm a fan of Bastoni, but the way PSG did to him and exposed his weakness, I'm kind of worried, Irishman. Bastoni, if we play like the way we played against City at the Etihad, yeah, best you need that type of dog in your team. But Liverpool, we open more than we stay compact, and we've seen ever since. I don't know why the manager Inzaghi decided to start moving away from his philosophy of at the beginning of the Champions League where they were staying compact all the time. He exposed his players. I mean, look what Barcelona did to them, and then ultimately what PSG did to him. That's why the Bastoni. Have you realized that the Bastoni hype has gone down after the Champions League final? So I don't know. What do you think about him or the Brentwaite too?
Brantwaite, I mean, if you wanted to go fantasy, you go and you get Bastone and he works.
Yeah.
He's a huge risk to bring Bastone to Liverpool.
Yep.
It really is. If you have, I have a rule that you never buy Italian, right? Never buy Italian.
It never worked at Liverpool, man.
If you look at other than one or two, there are Italian players that have come to England and they've been absolutely brilliant. But I'll guarantee you one thing: they were slightly different to the average Italian player, a bit more worldly. They were older at the end of their careers, and they moved to London, right? Viali and Zola, right, at Chelsea, slightly different characters, went to London. Di Canio, totally mad, crazy. You can't categorize him as anything. Went Sheffield Wednesday, went to West Ham. Ravanelli was brilliant, but he wanted out of Middlesbrough after one season. Couldn't wait to get out of England. Tonali, you've had players like Casaraghi, you've had people like that. They just don't Italian players don't tend to settle in England. They don't tend to settle abroad in general. I won't go into all that. You could talk about that for ages, but there's reasons behind that. So for us, I just don't take, like, it's a very, especially in the north of England, you know, I don't think they'd settle very well. The risk is too high. But Bastoni, as a footballer, I think is one of the best centre halves in Europe, regardless of what happened the other night. Regardless of what happened the other night. Inter is my team outside of Liverpool. Inter has always been, because we over here we grew up with Football Italia. It was free on Sundays in Ireland. You could watch Italian football, all that famous like Football Italia. So in Ireland, if you grew up in the 90s as a kid, you usually have like a favorite Italian team. Because we got, you can never watch Sky TV, but you could watch Inter versus AC. So Inter has always been my team. And I think he's one of those guys, Lautaro. Let him stay there. Lautaro is just an Inter player. Let him stay there. He just gets it. Inter get him. Same with Bastone. Incredible. But I don't know. To that, I would just say, Badro, I want us to sign players like Isak and Alvarez. But what I'm saying is, I don't think those signings are possible this summer. If they are possible, go out and do them. Absolutely, 100%.
Yeah.
But if we need to wait until next year to bring in a player like that, I would say, well, if we need to bring in a centre forward anyway, I think a Goncalo Ramos would be okay for a year, because he wouldn't expect to be the main man all the time. You could then bring in an Isak.
Yeah.
But if you said you can pick one of three, Goncalo Ramos is bottom. I'd pick Isak, then Alvarez, and then Ramos. But it's just about what I think we can realistically do.
Right. By the way, I'm starting trouble. Cherki versus Elliott. Do you see the something that somebody posted?
Uh-oh.
Oh, Elliott. Then we might as well keep Elliott there, people. We might as well keep Elliott. You see those numbers? Oh my God, I love Liverpool fans, man. They will start beef from nowhere.
Oh, I saw a great one yesterday, which was a Twitter thread of Man City fans before and after we signed, as it were, Florian Wirtz.
Yeah.
And it was just like 50 Man City tweets about how Wirtz is just one of the world's best players, blah, 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 what he's going to do for City. And
Yeah.
then after the bottom half of the thread was like 50 from all the same people just talking about how he's trash. The same people, he's
The
trash, and then
same
putting up
people.
those things. Cherki is better than him. Some guy
Oh
in
man,
Turkey
it's
is better than
hilarious.
him.
I
Just
love, man.
crazy.
Football fans,
Absolutely
man.
crazy.
Oh man, that's crazy. But big up to Mandem in the building, man. People, please hit the like button. Let's get me to 100. Come on, man. Get me to 100, including the
What are you on
people.
now? What are you on now?
I don't even know. People, somebody check. Somebody check. Somebody check. Where we at? Oh, come on, people. We got 3 more subscribers. Big up to Mandem who subscribed. Please, thank you. I appreciate you so much. I appreciate you. Thank you for subscribing. We are 5 away from 450. So we need to get to 500 before July 1. That would be perfect. So then we can start with the transfer window. Well, transfer window starts next week, but July 1 is the original where they can actually officially sign. But that would be perfect. So we could get to 500 before July. Then that means I will have to create pick a new day. Well, I won't pick it. I'll let the community pick the day that we do the call-in, the time. If I have to wake up early, then that's so be it. People told me, be humble when you get to the top. I told you, I will be humble, but the signs are going to be there. And you got to allow me because, I'm human. You know what I mean? But big up tomorrow. But Irishman, what you got coming up, man?
Well, we're trying to get away from a little bit from the
Mr. Wirtz.
transfer charm. Just the same stories over and over,
Over
again.
and over, yeah.
It's very, very difficult. I had a show last night where we did our own kind of. You had to pick your all-time Liverpool 11, but there was 3 people, and you could only pick one player from any one country. So you could only have one Spanish player, you could only have one French player, and then, but once a player was taken, he was gone for all the other teams. So if I picked Allison, he was gone, but I couldn't pick any other Brazilians. That was a bit of fun. There was 3 of us doing that. Me and Lee and Rev. And we got some good teams together, actually. We managed to get 3 really good teams together. But I'm just gonna try and, it's hard. I'm not brilliant I can't do what you do and what the lads do, where you just go on your own and do. I can't do it. I need people with me. I need to, and I need people
when you have the
calling in.
community is always best. Trust me.
Yeah. That's if I don't have guests on.
Best. Yeah.
I'll just stop and I'll wait for somebody to come in and then I'll start my show. But try and maybe come up with a few different things. The quizzes are just because it's dead season now, really. Once these deals are done. Yeah, no, there'll be 5 other people doing a show about Wirtz and Carquez on that day. So, like you say, my show is always a call-in show. So anybody that even wants to come on and just 5 minutes give their opinion on a Diaz or something like that, it'll just, the link will always to StreamYard will always be pinned in the chat, and we kind of take it from there. We let it go on its own, but yeah, I really want to get these things done so we don't have to do the same transfer show every single night. Carquez Wirtz,
yeah,
private plane, Germany camp, all of this, and maybe talk about this silly tournament that's coming up. Maybe do something about that. This Club World Cup. Maybe have a look at that.
And then the news also is Annie Slot might be getting a new contract too, so which is good news. Yeah.
Good.
Big up yourself, Edward. Thank you for rolling into the barbershop. We appreciate you. Brado said, if Diaz leave this summer, Gordon the right replacement? Nope.
I think Gordon would have been good under Klopp. He's very Klopp.
Yeah, he'll be good under Klopp, but I don't think he'll be good under Slot. Yeah.
In transition. I'm not so sure.
If Diaz leave, I got 2 players, Rodrigo or Nico.
Yeah, that's
that. I mean, I'm going for the best.
Would you be happy to give Nico that 400k? Because that's obviously the.
Oh no, I'm not bringing him for 400k. He has brother. Did you see what Salah did? Yeah, did you see what Salah did before he earns what he got right now? Until you show me you could do that, don't even talk about it. I'll give you mid 100s, 150, 170 the most. I'll give you 150 plus performance bonuses. Then you could get to 400. Other than that, brother, no.
We are well known for being highly incentivized. Our contracts are the most, are up around the most incentivized out there, apparently. Our base wages is a tiny bit lower, but if we win and you play and you score, you're making money more than your basic.
You're making money. The difference, the only two players right now is Virgil and Salah, who just on the high ranking. Salah stopped the bonus one, the other contract. But he was making more money when he was on incentives. I don't know why he decided to go for the straight cash. If he comes in 150, and that's because he will sell shirts, right? That's why I'm giving you 150. Now, incentives. You starting, you scoring more goals, you doing this, you doing that. Then it'll get you to 400. Other than that, nope. And I think Diaz is on a lot of incentives too. That's why he doesn't want to push himself out. Because if he was in such a low wage where he's not making money, he would have been gone a long time ago. But I think Diaz might stay, and we will give him a new contract. I think we will. But if he does move on, give me Rodrigo or Nico. But Nico,
I think he leaves. I think he leaves because we're not giving him that big new contract. Because that big new contract would mean 4 years.
Right. Of course.
So you're signing him up until he's 32 on a big deal. It's just, this is falling between the cracks. Life is all about timing, Quasi.
Facts.
And this is just, this timing is wrong. He's 28. One last big deal. We're not going to offer him what he wants, but we're not going to sell him for it. So it's gotten real messy, this one. I think the easiest thing, like I've been saying this from day one, he hasn't earned that big money, ever. He's never earned that big bucks.
No, he deserves it. He deserves it. The owners screwed up big time letting Edward leave.
Oh,
they screwed up big time because they dropped a lot of. It's like how Warner Brothers screwed up and let who's that director? Snyder leave when he was building something for the Superman, the whole Justice League universe, right? And they didn't let him finish his work, and then they brought this new guy. Now everybody's like, I don't even know if I need to watch Superman or not. But I think the owners messed up. I mean, you had a choice between Klopp, who was the golden goose, and Klopp was at his highest, which most people would have made the same choice. But I think we screwed up. They gambled on the wrong person, and that has cost us money. That has cost us time to develop players. We would have been way better than where we are right now. We would have. I think
that's on Klopp as well. That's on Klopp as well, Quasi.
No, Klopp is also part of the problem. Yeah,
Klopp was given. Who was it that was in charge when Trent and Virgil and Salah had 2 years left under?
And that's why when he was him, right? So when he came in and made that statement about blame the owners, don't blame Trent, blah, blah, brother, you were in charge. You know what I mean?
No, I don't know, man. Like the Nunez one, we've even
that was him. He was in charge. It was that's why
Dr. Ian Graham. Dr. Ian Graham, the guy that used to head up all our recruitment data analytics, said in his book, he's left now. This guy was a fucking Oxford professor of physics.
Yeah,
we brought in to do our data analytics, and he was also a Liverpool fan. And he's done his book, and he's done multiple interviews where he said, yeah, we had disagreements in the past. Of course, Jurgen would want a player, we'd want a player, blah, blah, blah. And someone said, well, an example of that was he wanted Darwin Nunez, and he was given the famous phrase now, the data warnings, that said, do not sign this player. He said, if you want to sign this player, you're the manager, you do this. But when you ask us to give you our readout and our analysis, our data analysis of this player, everything about it says, do not sell, do not buy this player. And Klopp had, this is a matter of fact, public record. It's not me making stuff up. It's in his book. It's in his interviews. You can go and find it. And Klopp went ahead and made those decisions. The same with someone like Endo. The same with a couple of players.
Yeah.
that weren't really anything but club signings because he was given more power. Edwards leaves because he's given more power.
Yeah,
He
everything
finds
went
out
to him. They didn't bring in a
Klopp is
director of
leaving. He goes
football.
back.
They only brought Big George, just to help him out. Julian Ward quit. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
Ward
true.
is back.
Ward is
They
back.
all wanted Isak. They all wanted Isak.
They all
Ward is
wanted
back.
Isak.
Edwards is back. And why? Because Klopp has left.
And that's what I'm saying. That's why I'm so talking about. I'm on this Isak soapbox. You know what I mean? And have you realized that all the players they're going after were players that Edward wanted before he left?
And by the way, please, before I am not, Jurgen Klopp is an incredible
Oh no, no,
manager,
no. We are not.
incredible
Come on now.
football manager,
We tell
but he
exactly what
shouldn't
happened.
be given, he shouldn't be given power over transfers. I
You
think that's
don't
been
give a
proven.
manager that kind of power. Even Alex Ferguson had checks and balances with David Gill.
You know, Pep Linder's in there having his say in who we're bringing in.
Mm-hmm.
You know, these are top quality managers and
Nah,
coaches.
yeah,
So,
man.
so
But
we're giving too much power.
Edward is back. That's why I was happy. Some Liverpool fans wasn't
Yeah.
happy because they were exposed certain things they already know. They just won't like the toxic negativity that we were on. But we move on from that. Right now, we are back to our perch. We are winners. We are royalty.
Yeah.
And let's see what happens. But, you know, I'm going to keep putting, you know, as much as I am realistic as the next fan, sometimes I'm still going to keep putting in there. We need Isak, man. I'm sorry. I got to keep putting it out there. I'm sure somebody's going to listen and is going to filter to the top. Whether that's realistic or not, it needs to be in our lexicon where we be like, bro, if we want to dominate and make sure that all the money that we spending comes back tenfold, let's get the right people. Let's get the right people, whether we get them now or later. But let it be known that, just like Irishman said, if you are that dude like Wirtz, like Isak, or whoever, if you want to come to Liverpool, we want to let you know you made the right choice and we can get you. Right? Gone are the days where, Irishman, we may have to have a show of that. I'm going to steal that point. We are doing what City used to do to us. Because the players that have gone to City usually would have been the players that Liverpool have gone for. And the players that are coming to Liverpool are usually the players that would have gone to City. You heard it here first. Started with Irishman, and Kwesi's going to steal that idea and make a show about it. Because it is so true. Nobody's talking about it. They want to make it all of a sudden, oh, Cherki scored an amazing goal. Let's make it a debate between him and Wirtz. No. Years ago, we would have been, Cherki is coming to Liverpool for 25 to 30 million. Liverpool's going for Ed Nouri because he reminds us of Trent or Robo back in the day. But right now, Ed Nouri is going to City. Cherki possibly will end up in City. And we get the other style. That is a very, very, very strong point. And I hope you guys remember this. When you hear it from other people, you know where it came out first. The same thing that I said, nobody is adding Gyökeres to Newcastle because everybody assumed that because he loves Amorim, he's going to go to Man U. Man U could love to have him, but they don't have the cash. They need to get Mbeumo out of the gate. They spend all their money on Cunha. Yeah. And what's his name? Bruno is not leaving. If Bruno had left, they would have had more cash to spend. And Bruno said he wants to stay. So it is what it is, man. But big up to people in the chat. Thank you so very much for coming through. Please, please, please hit the like button. Please give us at least 10 more likes. Give us 10 more likes before we get out of here. And people on X, please hit my like button. Subscribe on my X channel. On my X page. Irishman, this is his channel. Please go there and support. Like he said, he has a community daily call-in show. Come in, please, no weirdos, and support, man. We talk about Liverpool. You see how comfortable and how nice it is to talk without anybody coming in and messing it up. It's all debate. Irishman agree with me maybe 30% of the time. People in the chat did not agree with me most of this, but that's how you have a debate. You know, and I love my community because you guys are so respectful and make it fun. I think the biggest mistake is Klopp wanted Nunez instead of Harry Kane. I would have not mind getting Harry Kane, you know, Irishman. is Kane can play false nine and suit club style. That's true. I would have gotten Kane. That year, I would have gotten Kane. As much as he annoys the hell out of me.
Then the year so 3 years ago.
Yeah.
Basically.
Yeah.
Yeah, then then definitely. But now people are talking about this summer. No.
No, now it's too late.
Too much money, too high wages, too many miles on the
Yeah.
clock. And I think there's a bit of an assumption that he wants to leave Bayern.
Right.
He's unfinished business in England. I don't really think he does. I don't think he really gives a shit. I don't think he's not gonna.
No, he's not leaving. He's comfortable where he's at.
Yeah, he's on a big contract.
He's on a big
scoring a lot of goals. He see them as potentially. I mean, Bayern are only 1 year away from. They're never a favorite in the Champions League, but if they get a good run at it, they can win it. They're one of those teams that could win it. Yeah, but 3 years ago, as a Bobby replacement, Harry Kane, I think he would have been excellent. But what would he have cost us back then? 150 million. So I don't think that was possible.
Yeah.
Who knows? No, but great player. Harry Kane's a great player.
Oh yeah.
He is.
Definitely. You gotta give him his respect. Big up to man there, man. Thank you. Please, before you leave, hit the like button if you haven't.
I have a quick question for you,
yes,
Quasi, if you don't mind.
Yeah.
Let's just say, I know you. Let's just say they do go through, right? And Man United get Gyökeres and Mbeumo, Cunha's done, and Mbeumo's looks like it's going to be done, and Gyökeres. How high do you think they? Because let's also, they don't have Champions League football, but it's not holding them back money wise.
Top 8.
But they only have to play once a week.
Top 8.
They can train all week, learn the system, learn the tactics. So
top 8.
They ain't going to be anywhere near where they are this year, are they? If they get people are kind of need to have a look at that now, and don't be surprised if you see them hovering around the 7th again.
That's what I'm saying. Top 8. That's the only thing, because they don't have depth. When those players start getting injury, then what? Maybe that's why it'll help them, because they won't need to. They don't have enough games, so they could rest every week. But that'll bring them. Remember, Liverpool went through the same thing, and the best.
And it worked. It was good for us.
It was good for us. So, but the thing is, this is the reason why I say top 8, because the top 6 is so strong, and Spurs is not part of the top 6. The top 6 is so strong as it is right now. So for Man United to break into that, and this manager thinking that his 3-4-3 is going to be easy, because when he finds out, you could rest 2 weeks. You're not going to beat these teams. Villa is going to be strong. People are forgetting about Villa too.
Having to sell a lot of players, Quasi. They're under the gun for money. They're under the gun for.
Oh yeah, they are in trouble with the PSR.
They're big trouble.
Yeah. The team that I think might fall off may be Forest.
Oh, yeah. No. I don't think. Yeah, they're definitely finishing 14th next season. Definitely. Chris Wood ain't doing that again. Hey, no one's come in for their little gems yet. Everyone was assuming Morgan Gibbs-White was going to Man City. That was all the talk for a month.
And the only reason why I'm saying they will fall off also is because of Europe. They got conference.
Yeah, they won't be able to handle both.
They're not going to be able to handle both. So that will allow Manchester to creep in. Spurs, I think Spurs will come in. Oh, if they get Frank, then they're also in the top 8 too.
It's a big leap up. People were talking yesterday about like him and Marco Silva. If I'm Frank, I'm taking it. I'm taking the job.
I'll take the job.
You also know you've got to have a bit of reputation damage afterwards, maybe if it doesn't go right, because it's Tottenham. You probably won't go brilliantly.
They won't go brilliant, but they will be in the top 8. I'll give him top 8. But I said his Spurs was smart. Yes, Frank is a good coach.
Back him. Don't freak out after 8 months if it's not going well.
Right. Spurs fans think that just because they are that rich kid who think they are that dude. But I'm like, bro, the only reason why you hang around with us is because you got money.
But Quasi, look at it. This year, Brentford were brilliant, right? And Mbeumo kicked, it's probably no surprise Tony left, but Mbeumo picked up the slack. Vissa has more goals than Mbeumo. But last year, Brentford were terrible. The season before that, Brentford were brilliant.
Mhm.
Last season, they were awful. They were down like
So that
15th or
he
8th.
doesn't have consistency, and he's going to be
Yeah,
in
so if he
Champions
does
League.
that at Spurs,
He's in
you
trouble.
know, they've got to be ready for that. Like, so you bring
Yeah,
in a coach,
he's
you
going to
got to
be
back him.
ready. That's right. I say Spurs should have gone for Fabregas.
He's turned everybody. He turned down Inter. He see
He
he's a part owner of that Como thing.
or the club or he's at. That's why he's
Yeah, so
staying.
he's managing Como, but he's also kind of like a part owner of the whole thing. And
Mm.
he turned down bloody Inter Milan because they said they sacked Inzaghi. Inzaghi's gone to Saudi after the Champions
Man,
League final.
he
Now they're bringing
embarrassed him.
in. Yeah, Inter have signed one of my favorite players from back in the day, our football manager, Christian Kivu,
Mm.
Romanian left back.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's now the new Inter Milan manager. But they went for Fabregas, and Fabregas is like, no, I'm going to stay at this Como thing I've got going on.
Yeah, I would have said Spurs should have. I don't know if the Arsenal loyalty would have kicked in, but I'm like go try, because what Spurs needs to do is, which I like Frank, because he will build you up and then maybe you get a better manager the next time. But you need a manager with fresh ideas, not a manager who's trying to copy other people, because then
Which
they
is
won't win.
why Nuno for me was nearly manager of the season this year because I just loved the way he said, "No, everyone's going to do tiki taka." Well, obviously it's not that, but high press. We're just going to go old school,
Right.
knock it long, and try and deal with it, and they couldn't.
Mm-hmm.
I just thought Nuno just show, if nothing else, just showing people that not everybody has to be a Pep clone or
Club.
a Johan Cruyff clone. You
Yeah.
can play different types of football,
Mm-hmm.
and it worked for them.
Mm-hmm.
People couldn't live with it. We couldn't live with it.
Nope.
They beat us handy because we couldn't live with it.
Put
And
him in a
Slot was like,
position. Put him in a very good position to play Europe. You know.
yeah. No, I thought what he was. I just loved the way he went old school, just as much as kind of an education to coaches.
Mm-hmm.
Like you don't all have to copy. Not everyone has to do this, and it's a
Yeah.
hard sell to the fans. It is a
Mm-hmm.
hard sell to fans. 22% possession, the
Yeah.
load of long balls. You know, it wouldn't work at Liverpool, but it got them where they were, and it's just
Mm-hmm.
like a little refresher for people. Like go and deal with this for a while. And all these boys like Slot and Maresca that have
Mm-hmm.
come up playing a certain way, they just couldn't handle it. They couldn't
Yeah.
handle it.
No, you're right. I agree with you on that one. Somebody said troops will crash out. Now, I think Fabregas he's a brilliant mind in terms of football knowledge. So he would have done well. But I think Frank is the manager for Spurs, and that will allow Spurs fans to taper their expectation, because you know what you're getting from him. He is a manager's coach, or whatever coach manager, players
Yeah,
manager. You know, he plays simple, hardworking. So that means he will go with players who have a lot of pace. And his football is not overexciting, but it's a lot of energy. You know, I remember Klopp, you liked him a lot. He said he loved playing against Brentford. So Spurs, I think he will go back to the Harry Redknapp style of football. A lot of energy, gut busting up and down, running. But that's if they support him. But we will see. We will see. But I think Man U will be. I see them top eight. Top eight will be
yeah,
somewhere there. Maybe they'll make it to Europa, but that's a big maybe and an if, because if this manager start off bad, he will not make it to December. If he starts off bad, he will not make it to December. And they got lucky, you know. Ineos have paid off some of their debt, so they can buy players. Their PSR is looking much better.
yeah.
Can
Man
you
United
imagine?
don't have. He came in and said
15 million was
last
their
year.
cap.
Yeah, he came in
50
last year
million.
and said that they were going bust by Christmas. He was getting slagged off for like sacking like five, six
No,
hundred
bro,
people.
people don't know how bad it is, man. Their cap was 15 million in PSR. That means they could not, their debt could not go over 15 million. Whatever they were going to sell or bring in had to be there. Now they at
Yeah,
105.
but he was
So,
because he came in and said he told the press in England at least that Man United would have gone bankrupt by Christmas.
mhm.
And that was a lie. Man United ain't going bankrupt. They're the fourth highest earning team in world football.
Yeah.
They bring in more cash than the Vegas casinos do. They are cash and also there's red football holdings that owns Manchester United, and then there's Manchester United PLC. And a lot of the debt that people are talking about that they have is actually on Manchester United PLC, which isn't regulated by PSR. That red football holding is actually much smaller.
Yeah.
So there's a big misunderstanding of what's going on with their debt at the moment. They can spend a shitload of money. They have it, and they can't. It's like people, oh, how can such and such a club and Man United can only do this? Because they have the money.
Right.
They genuinely do have the money. That's why he was lying. He came out and he's like, he cut all freeway days for disabled people, and he stopped all charitable contributions, all this stuff. People think our owners are bad. This guy came in like the Grinch on steroids.
He had to make cuts.
The Grinch on steroids.
Brother made so much cut.
So all the people that are earning 300 quid a week, he was cutting people's jobs. People earn like 300-400 quid a week. Like, forget about the massively overpaid footballers that they have.
Yeah,
they were cutting off people, the lowest earning people at the club. That's who they were getting rid of.
That's what got annoying. Yeah, but he had to start somewhere. He had to start.
But he had to go and get. He wants to go, but he didn't. Well, but it's just the way he's kind of come in and done it is pretty rough. But he wants to now get new funding from the British taxpayer to pay for their new stadium.
That was hilarious.
Even though he moved to Monaco, so he didn't have to pay tax in England.
Taxes, yeah. And guess what? I think they say he's selling East.
These guys are shameless, man. It's like your man Texter now at Palace, because they've John Texter owns Palace. He's a part owner of, someone will say in the chat, of one of the other clubs that are both going to be in Europe. So he has to try and sell up from Palace now. Because they're not allowed. You can't have an.
Oh yeah, that's why they're struggling right now. And he tried to.
Yeah, he's trying to get out of Palace because they've gone and qualified. They weren't expecting that. That's the problem with some of this multi-club ownership.
Yeah.
Palace would be looking at getting banned from competing in Europe if this guy still owns them.
Yeah, that would be unfair, man. They fought all this time just to. Yeah. But anyway, thank you so much, Irishman. Thank you, people in the chat. Yeah, the rumors are Chelsea might be able to sign Gittins. I thought they were getting Ekitike. Well, that means they sent Sancho. They spend money to send Sancho back. This is how bad they don't want this guy.
Leon, that's the other one. Leon, thanks. Yeah, Leon in Europe now too. So he can't have two clubs in Europe. So he doesn't want to sell Leon apparently. So he wants to get out of Palace.
Yeah, he wants to get out of Palace. Yeah. But Leo will give him more money. Well, no, Palace will, but I think he will step back from.
I think it's easier to sell Palace basically because Leon is in a bit of trouble money wise.
I think they are also in big trouble. So
yeah, they are. So
I think what he did. Oh yeah, that's true. That's true. But big up to man there, man. Thank you so much for being with me, man. I appreciate all of you guys. Please subscribe as you walk out. If you haven't, please hit the like button. Thank you. Go to Irishman Anfield and subscribe to his channel. Let me get that link again. Where did I put it? Yeah. Big up to man there, man. Thank you so much for you guys taking your time. And again, for all the people who observes it, Eid Mubarak, enjoy with your family and friends. Thank you so much. Anfield Irishman, please go subscribe. Oh, my voice. What's the name? Bredro said, I'm worried we get Ekitike is shit and overrated. I don't even think we are looking at it. It's just people trying to make it's silly season, brother. It's silly season. So expect all these links. I also enjoy history lessons on Brian's channel. Well, thank you so well, Kabak, for letting people know. You see, when you go to Anfield Irishman, this is what you get. So call-ins and football education, which a lot of us need because some of us be talking a lot of foolishness. Crazy Bold Irishman, peace.